I've seen many a Negro taken because they got into African nationalism. Man, we ought to trust each other. I know one person, well, I saw her at the Third World, and I thought sure she was, because, at the First World, because she was there listening to the lectures, and she was, wearing the African garb and the whole bit, I figured they were going to be all right. Nonsense. You've got to look into the character of people you deal with, not the ideology. All kinds of characters can hide behind ideology, you see. And many people are into black nationalism for the wrong reasons. And there are many reactionaries who are into black nationalism. And when you really get to know them deeply, they are still the old, good old-fashioned assimilationists. But who, because they've been rejected, they're going through their little anger period right now. But if that white bear said, tomorrow I love you, they jump right into his arms. Yeah. Because, as I've said, the ultimate philosophy of black nationalism should in no way really be based on white folk. How they have dealt with us. We should want to build the political social system we want to build, whether white people ever existed in the world. Nothing to do with the existence of white folk and being treated by white folk. It's having an ideology and philosophy that you think is right and equitable and for the best interest of all the people as such. And that should reign on earth whether white people existed or not. When you have an economic, a social system, a political ideology that is a reactionary system, that is a reaction to how you've been treated by another people, then that ideology is still externalized, is still the responsibility of that other people. Because when they change, you will change. And in a sense, they can manipulate then the ideology through the manipulation of their own attitudes and their own behaviors. And consequently, you will see people moving back and forth and having all kinds of confusions by the movement and behavior of whites. Even nationalists who have built their behavior on this. And so you got many reactionaries. Hate can be built upon love, just as love can be built upon hate. And that's why they're so closely allied. Some people love because they hate, And much of so-called love comes out of hate. Much of the love we have because of the situation we're in is based on hatred. That's why even our love often comes out destroying us. Self-hatred. When you hate yourself and fear yourself, you will love anything that helps you to escape from that self. That's why love becomes unrealistic. Because it takes one away from the reality of self. You see, and away from the confrontation with self. And so anybody or anything that gets us away from that feared self, we love it. Heart and soul. It makes us feel wonderful and delightful. Yeah. And see, the slick thing that the system has done is to make us fear ourselves. To make us hate. When you destroy people's culture and degrade a people's culture and degrade a people's physical features and degrade intrinsic parts of those people and degrade that people's history and assassinate their personality, they become frightened to identify with that personality. They become frightened to come face to face with it and to deal with it. They want to escape from it. And the vehicles that provide the escape route become loved and a source of great feelings of relief and release. And the person becomes attached to them.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. I'm coming back. Shouts out to Rashid. Put the link in there for Cassidra. Um, and I'm gonna say this just because the show the lives have been like longer the last couple times. We want to kind of keep it down. At least let us me and Cassidra set the show up before we let other people come on. Just so it don't get drawn out. But we definitely gonna put the link up there again for anybody who want to come on and add to the conversation. But just for right now, the link is just for Cassidra, and I'll let y'all up a little. We're not gonna be super late because we got to be respectful. I got to be respectful of everybody's time, and I know that sometimes these lives get drawn on. So, and then I also try not to have too much, like go too deep into the rabbit hole. You know how I do. But I'll put the link in there for Cassidra, and then when she comes up, I should have put the link in there already, but when she comes up, then we'll okay, yeah, she about to come in a second. But today, and this kind of a continuation of not only last week's topic, but also the last topics we've been talking about for like the last week or so. And that is supporting each other, supporting, especially when there's a brother or a sister doing something that they're supposed to do, right? We still have issues supporting each other. We always find a reason or something negative to say about somebody who is doing something. And I understand I may have my criticisms in certain areas, but it's not to denigrate the other person, because the first thing we do is try to tear down the black person who is doing something. Even if it's criticisms is one thing, but trying to exploit or like expose them when we don't have this energy for nobody else. What's going on, Cassidra?
Hello, 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 forecast. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I was getting ready to get on and my computer went blank. Like, really? Oh, I had to find my charger. Yes, but everything is everything. It's good. I hear what you're saying and I agree totally. Especially if it's another black person. We don't have that same energy for anybody else. That's the thing that gets me right there.
Yeah, we don't have that energy, but for nobody but other black people. When we find a way to, like, it don't matter like who it is though, it's like you bring somebody you've never heard of, the first thing the question is going to be, oh, what kind of scam they. And I'm not saying that they're, because we're gonna have this whole conversation, and if you want to have an opinion after we talk for like just a little while, just so we're not long, you can come on here. But we're gonna talk about all of that. Why don't we do that? Do we do that or not? But anyway, consider, you want to say something before we get into it? Like, what do you think about this topic?
I think it's amazing. I think, all our targets have been fired because it's stuff that needs to be shed light on in our community. We have so many, you know, um, split ends, I want to say, that it's so many topics, so many areas that we need to tweak. And I think if we did what we need to do, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in now.
Yeah, that's a fact. We definitely wouldn't be in the position that we in now, And what's going on, my brother? Guys, salute to my brother Rashid Holmes. So consider my let's just go ahead and get into it.
Sure.
I'll go with the first one. Um, let me see. All right, so why do black people judge each other so hard? And that's the question, and I get it, some people be like, oh, well, because it's our whatever. One thing, that kind of gets me is when, because always black people be like, we always got to target black people and all of that. Now, I'm not one to be like, we are the worst, because I don't think so. I think the whole system that creates the clones in the rest of us situation is the worst part of it. but we judge each other, and especially when somebody is doing something, I think because we don't want to actually, we don't want that smoke, you know. So I'm gonna play a little bit of what this brother's saying, because he talking about family, but it's more, it's, you know, an overall thing, you know, with business and a bunch of stuff, you know.
No hatch, I'm tripping. I've been drinking. Look, man, today, you know what I'm saying? This video right here is about why do family members judge each other so hard? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this shit's crazy. You know, family member will judge you. Like, for example, you know, you get caught up in some charge, you get charges put on you, and they'll hear about it and then start just, why do my people think that everything that the system do is set in stone? Like they just automatically write us into what really happened, not what's really going on. They don't even care if you're innocent. They just, why do my people think that everything that the system do is set in stone? Like they just automatically right or something. Like they can't be wrong. Do you know how many people locked up for no reason? Do you know how many black men locked up for shit they didn't do? You know what I'm saying? That bothers me, man. Because god damn, we all we got, and then the motherfucker that we got is looking at us like we done did something wrong because the system said we did. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to question it. Ask that man what happened. If it don't make sense, then it don't make sense. But God, well, at least, you know, give that man a chance. Hear him out. Don't be assuming nothing. You know what I'm saying? The system not designed for us to win. You see what I'm saying? So, man, look, this shit crazy. You know what I mean? I got so many kinfolk that done got caught up in this system, man. And it's designed that it's a good chance that you might not have did nothing. So you don't feel no kind of way. You feel free because you know what you told was the truth. You understand what I'm saying?
All right, so you know, considering he talking about you know, certain things, but what you think about what he's saying, and why black people are so hard on each other and come at each other, especially when people are trying to do something, you know.
He's right. I totally agree because I know it for a fact. You know, even the statistics will tell you black children are judged more harder in the justice system, in schools, and our men especially. I've known black men to be in jail for absolutely nothing. But when you tell people that, they think you lying because they go, oh, because it's not happening to them. So they think, oh, nobody would arrest. Why would they arrest you? And if you know the system, but we act like we don't know the system. If you know the system, you know they gonna lock you up for nothing. Just like that young man that hit that teacher. They tried to give him 35 years. You think he deserved 35 years? Are you serious? And he's something's wrong with him, right? You can hear it because he asked the judge, "Am I going to jail?" And the judge said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I don't want to go to jail." He said, "Where are you going?" And then he started, talking crazy to the young man. But my thing is, this is the system. But why do we act like we don't know the system? Why do we act like, oh, the system is right? When you see police officers killing folk, we have an excuse. We have an excuse for why he died, why he should have died. And you go, are you serious? They actually killed him for absolutely nothing, 96 times being shot, and you said come on. So I do agree totally with what he just said. I've known women, I worked in a prison before, way back in the day, and the lady had 10 years and didn't even do it. And they found out after 10 years that she didn't do it. Ain't that something? So I totally agree. Totally. I rest my mic.
Yeah. And by the way, shouts out to Anthony. And yeah, you can come on. We go talk for a little bit.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah, and I agree.
Rashid. Hello, everybody to the chat. I didn't see. Oh, Rashid is in there. Hey, Rashid.
yeah, my brother Rashid in the building. But yeah, like absolutely. And the first thing we say is like, we against this and this and the white. But then as soon as something happened, you'll be like, oh well, they said this about the brothers, so I believe everything they said, or you ain't following they rules or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't lie and cheat and steal, but I'm saying everybody don't.
Exactly. Everybody is not following the rules now for a cast. I remember this movie, The Brewster Place of Brewster Street. It's on Netflix now. You guys watch that movie? That is the saddest movie ever. I don't want to tell the movie, but it's really a great movie. You guys need to watch it. And he actually went to jail for absolutely nothing. The police officer got mad at him because um, he wanted to arrest him anyway, right? But the lady vouched for him in the store, so he couldn't. And I'm just saying, but he actually went to jail for nothing. And that's the saddest movie ever because his girlfriend was pregnant and they was getting ready to get married and all this. It was a great movie, and it just hurt my heart because I'm like, how many black men go through this, and how many now we know how police officers are. How many back in the day, and we seen some. They got out. One man just got out for serving 45 years and he didn't even do it. Can you imagine? And you think they didn't know he didn't do it, but did they care? No. So how many times do we see that? So we know that it happens. So when people start to judge or they start to, not understanding or acting like they don't understand or even opening their mouth like, oh, they shouldn't have resisted. And you look at them and you go, but the dude was in the car. How in the hell was he resisting? Or they'll say, oh, and the police will say, well, he shot at us first. How many? Are you serious? Some of the stuff that they say just don't make sense, but we don't make it make sense. We just like OJ. Let's take him for example. That's a really good case. How a lot of black people went against their brother, and I'm looking at them like, are you freaking kidding me? The glove didn't fit because I don't believe that they would have allowed him to go free if you had had evidence that he killed that white woman. The system. And so many black folk went against their own for white folk. They went against OJ. I was like, I really wouldn't care if he did it or not. She just took one for the team. As far as I'm concerned, how many black folk died that they didn't go to jail for? You know what I'm saying? So that's a prime example right there. I rest my mic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just is a repeat cycle. And then so we understand why, because really I think that it's coming out of fear because you don't really want to address the real issues or get behind somebody who will really make a change. Like even the last time we was on here, it was way more people in here, probably be way more active in the chat because they thought that we was going against somebody or going at somebody, but that wasn't the case, and people may even take it certain type of ways, but then when you come back and you talk about building or something, the first thing a lot of people are going to do is try to find a way to look for something that is wrong with that person, and it stems from fear because do you know what has happened to the black leaders that now today we respect and back then maybe we would respect? I was having a conversation with my neighbor and she's a sister who's like in her 40s and a black woman. And she, the more I talked to her, the more she was like, yeah, I wish I was back then in the 60s and stuff. So I would have been a Black Panther back then, you know what I'm saying? And but the thing when we was having this conversation, she feels like, we don't have no hope because our community is lost, And I was trying to tell her, like, hell, we might not even see it ourselves, but a part of leadership is, especially as a black man, you set the boundaries and whatever says goes. Like nobody can let me or let me not be a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. Like I don't give a damn what nobody says. And if you got a problem with it, you got a problem with it. And it's our responsibility to like, first of all, protect black men, women, and children. You know what I'm saying? Protect each other. That is our responsibility, but when you see strong male leadership, then you often see what happens to them. And so then you hear a lot of brothers be like, oh, well, the last leader we had, people like Malcolm, they got to go all the way back to Malcolm X, and they say, what happened to that brother? You know what I'm saying? And so we're going to show this. And like I said, I think it's going to be the children. You could tell just by like, if you look at the chat and the difference between then and now, when we're talking about something productive. I think that last one was productive. Y'all just got tricked because y'all thought we wasn't being productive, but we were, but this brother here, I'm going to first play this part,
20 million black people in this country have been like boys in the white man's house. He even calls us boy. Don't care how big you get, he calls you boy. You can be a professor. To him, you're just another boy. I heard him calling Ralph Fine. He's a good old boy. And if we can't do it, we should hush our mouth. If you can't do it for yourself, what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. If you can't set up a factory like he sets up a factory, don't talk that old equality talk. Get off the welfare. Get out of that compensation line. Be a man. Earn what you need for your own family. Then your family respects you. They are proud to say, that's my father. She's proud to say, that's my husband. Father means you're taking care of those children. Just because you made them, that don't mean you're a father. Anybody can make a baby, but anybody can take care of them. Anybody can go and get a woman, but anybody can take care of a woman.
All right, and I'm play, but and I'm gonna let you go in on this, considering now this brother here, and I will say this, according to like the stories, right? There was like a brother who may have been involved in other activities that Malcolm X didn't want to be necessarily associated with, offering his protection, but as a whole, the black community, like when you see black leaders of black people go out there doing and saying something and putting their life on the line, hell, like I ain't gonna use this person as an example, but you see a black person who may be famous or something say something about black people and then have to go, and you don't see black people taking up for them, because if they lose their job and their money, do you think we're going to protect them? Or if they are targeted, do you think we're going to protect them? So let me play, this is like a minute.
Apparently, two men approached the speaker's rostrum and discharged shots at him from apparently very close range.
Yes, I turned around quickly, and the next thing I saw was Malcolm falling back in a dead faint.
My mother threw herself over her babies, and she yelled out, "They're killing my husband."
I heard shots, and I saw people crawling on the floor. And so I got down too. Then when I was looking out, and I saw someone look in amazement to the front, I knew they had shot my husband.
He sustained one shot in the lower right chin, and the other 6 hit him in the chest and body.
I looked down at him and I said, he's going to die. I kept saying to myself, he's going to die, he's going to die.
How many immediately? No, he wasn't dead immediately, but expired very shortly thereafter.
Yeah, so Cassidra, what do you think about that?
Oh, you know what I think about that. Let me tell you what I think about it. The dudes that shot Malcolm, they shouldn't have never made it out of that mosque. They should have locked the doors and beat them to. When I say beat them to death, I mean just what I said. Don't shoot them, beat them to death. I'm serious. Ain't no way that dude who shot Malcolm should have lived to be. He just recently died, didn't he, or something like what? 2, 3, 4 years ago? Was it?
I think so, yeah.
It was real soon. It wasn't that long ago. But how did he live so long? You know what I'm saying? Even George Floyd, not George Zimmerman, right? How did he live so long? Or why is he still living? You understand what I'm saying? At what point do we defend our own? At what point? Medgar Evers, he was walking around by himself. You know he's putting his life on the line. You know back in the day, they would kill a black person, just shoot him and walk away, and nobody went to jail. But guess what? When you found out who did it, why didn't y'all, as the black community, handle that person? I guarantee you they wouldn't have shot no more. What you bet? What you bet? I'm just saying. You don't let somebody come in your community. Just like Peyton went to New York in that store. But he talked to the man the day before. He was sitting down talking to the black man the day before. Had a whole 4-hour conversation. You mean to tell me that you didn't know what he was trying to do? Nothing in you felt weird talking to a man that was getting ready to shoot 9 or 10 people? Nothing felt weird about that demon. That's sad. And then he got out the store and walked. What? And lived. and he in jail still living. What? Tell me why. We don't take care. We don't protect. You could see something going on and you won't say nothing. That 14-year-old baby who was the 2 aunts or something was jumping on her. She called the police. Police got there and shot her 4 times in the back. What? All them adults around it and nobody said nothing to them grown women beating on this 14-year-old. Really? You understand what I'm saying? We have to protect us, you guys. If don't nobody protect, you think the police are just going to stop killing us? Because it only be 1 or 2 of them at the moment when before they get their partners right. And we sit there and let them call on the radio, call for backup. Are y'all kidding? They come in your neighborhood. I remember back in the day, they couldn't even come in the black neighborhood. They had to get permission. Way back in the day, they couldn't even come in our neighborhood. And we now, y'all so far and in between, nobody think about getting their own communities back. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us coming back together to protect our own. But I don't know if that's going to work right now. Black folk act just like white folk to me. I'm being honest. I see them every day. And they act just like white folk. And I said, Lord, look at us. Our children, gay, lesbian, all this crazy stuff. All this crazy stuff. Drugging out just as bad as their kids. It's just pitiful. I rest my mic.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned Medgar Evers, and I want to show you this, and here you say, because I always say this when it comes to this brother, right? And they was like, they trained the children to crawl infantry style into the bathroom in the event of an attack. Medgar tried to make a game of self-defense, right? See, this is what I talk about when people are doing something like back then. It was way worse because they could get firebombed at any time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't saying that you won't be targeted, but it's not the same as even during Medgar Evers' time. You understand? But it's things like this that how much courage you have to go out there and do something, knowing that you have to train your children to crawl into the bathroom in case their house is firebombed in the middle of the night or something like that. And even to this day, we have a hard time even if you don't believe in something, like just not being negative about it. You know what I'm saying? And all right, so I'm gonna show this because now I'm gonna show this chick here, right? And of course, I don't agree with her, and it's not about her, And a lot of times I show these things that people disagree with, but the point is because she's talking about an interview she had with Medgar Evers' wife before she was who she was, And she's talking about, how they were with their children.
One of the sort of greats that we think of in the civil rights movement even lived to be 40. About him, he was older, 7 years older than her. She didn't know exactly how much older, but he just had sort of an air about him. And I think it was because he was a World War II veteran and a football player. Each of those things were the things that her grandmother and her aunt told her to absolutely stay away from. So in some sense, I think it was also the danger.
And you use their relationship as a lens through which to explore the fight for justice, equality, the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
What did that specific approach reveal to you?
What's interesting is I think that when we think about civil rights leaders, we tend to think of them as sort of just icons in isolation of their actual lives. But what these were young men, very young men in their 20s and 30s. None of the sort of greats that we think of in the civil rights movement even lived to be 40. And they lived whole lives that included falling in love, having children, being parents, being spouses. And so what I wanted to do was to fill in the narrative about the civil rights movement, to put it in the context of the 2 kinds of love that it took, right? You needed to have the loving family that would support you and allow you to do the thing that could get you all killed. A wife that was willing to live in a house that could be firebombed, that knew how to train your children to understand that their father could die, that their mother could die, that they could die.
As field secretary for the NAACP, that made him a target of white racists who at the time terrorized Black people in Mississippi with impunity. And after his tragic death, his assassination, Myrlie Evers committed herself to the fight. I mean, she became an activist in her own right. She wrote a book about Medgar Evers. She ran for Congress. She ultimately led the NAACP. Tell me more about her second act.
You know, Myrlie Evers was in some ways the most reluctant of civil rights leaders. She had no desire to do this. She just wanted to be with her man. She was a literal 1950s housewife and just wanted her man to come home every day and help her raise their children and go to the movies and enjoy their romance. But that was not in the cards for her. When Medgar died, she was in her early 30s. She was a very young woman who has 3 children to raise, but she was also angry. And one of the things that that really struck me as I interviewed Myrlie Evers is she can still access that sense of palpable rage. She wasn't just sad that Medgar was dead. She was angry. And she channeled that anger into the movement. She was determined to make sure his killer, who was tried twice to hung juries in the 1960s and 63 and 64, she wanted to see him in prison for the rest of his life. She eventually got that. It took her 30 years.
So, you know, yeah, what do you think about that, Cassidra?
They just don't make them like them anymore. I think about how he was alone. And you know, in those days, where was his army? Where was his support? Where was Black folk around him to send over our dead body? You gonna hurt this man. Because they knew he was getting death threats. They knew Malcolm was getting death threats, but his own people had him set up. That's the sad part about it. And they still living today. Happily, just, you know, going through some little health problems, I'm sure, but they still living today. And I look at the leaders we have today, and they're just as pitiful. They won't fight. They won't do. You got a whole Black caucus that has seen police officers killing George Floyd, seen police officers killing our babies shot 96 times, and others who was sitting in a car. One guy was coming out of New York, and he was, you know, they shot him coming out the building. One guy, he was sitting in his car asleep. They shot him, 100 and some times? This is crazy. I haven't heard the Black caucus, who's supposed to be our leaders, who's supposed to be protecting us, who's supposed to be making laws for us. I haven't heard them say anything in years. Have you? I'm just saying. I haven't heard them say anything. This is what we do. We don't even defend our own. You'll fight for Mexicans. I seen them at the gate. Remember when Trump had them at the border and had them in cages? I seen them, John Lewis and Elijah Cummings and who was the other one? Mike C. Watt. I said Karen Back. They was at the borders, right? Those for Mexican children. What did you do for Black kids? When you seen the police officers banging in their heads, shooting them in the head, Michael Brown. I didn't see anybody stand up for him. I didn't hear anybody say anything for Trayvon Martin when a white supremacy started a fight with him and got his ass beat, and then he wanted to shoot. I didn't see anybody stand, especially for that. You had a president got up there and cussed you out because you was mad about the injustice. The very man you had voted for, who you thought was going to protect you, came up there and cussed black folk out, disrespected us because we was mad because of the injustice. Make it make sense. So today, Black leaders, I don't know where they are. I don't see any. Nobody's willing to stick their neck out. Nobody's willing to protect Black people. Nobody's willing to say anything. Black caucus don't say anything unless it's Mexicans or illegal aliens. They'll vote in some money for them, but nothing for us. That's how you know they've sold you out, family. That's how we know. They line in their pockets, being silent, and we keep voting them in every 2 years because they come in every 2 years, right? And every 2 years we go faithfully and give them those seats back. What is that? What's that about? Make that make sense for me. I rest my mic.
No, yeah, and I meant to play this other one too because it goes back because you know now this brother should have definitely been protected, like you said, or if that happened, then we know what's going to go down. You know what I'm saying? We tearing everything up, you know. And
America's civil rights history.
This one is brother.
On that date in 1963, Medgar Evers, an activist and field secretary for the NAACP, was shot in the back outside his home in Jackson, Mississippi. In an interview from the early 1990s, Evers' wife Myrlie recalls that terrible night.
Force of that bullet, which is the kind I understand that one uses for hunting deer, had hit Medgar in his back, left a small hole and had torn out his chest. I ran in the house to call someone, I'm not sure who at this point. I don't know if I was making an attempt to call the police or what.
Evers died later that morning in a hospital. He was 37 years old and had 3 children. It was just hours after President Kennedy delivered his civil rights address on national television.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Evers' funeral became a rallying point for the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King helped lead the procession. Evers, a veteran of World War II, was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. A white supremacist named Byron de la Beckwith was tried for Evers' murder. 2 different trials in 1964, both with all-white juries, failed to reach verdicts. In the early 90s, Inside Edition sent a crew to interview de la Beckwith, but because the producer was African-American, he refused to talk to them.
I'm Vanessa Moody with Inside Edition. They sent me out to interview you because the other person couldn't make it.
Well, I'm sorry. I gave specific instructions as to who was to interview me, and you aren't the person that they were going to send.
Well, do you care to say anything about the fact that you might be retried?
Well, get in your vehicle.
Sir, did you shoot Medgar Evers?
Will you get in that vehicle and leave?
In 1994, after new evidence was discovered, de la Beckwith was tried a 3rd time for Evers' death. He was found guilty and sentenced to life without parole.
All I want to do is say, yay, Medgar, yay, yay, yay.
De la Beckwith died in prison in 2001.
Now, this old fool here lived another 30 years, you know. Look at this idiot, you know. And some backwoods in Mississippi after everybody knew who he was after he killed that brother. You know what I'm saying? But he still was able to be out there. You feel me, Cassidra?
He lived a long life, didn't he? Why did he live so long? Everybody knew he did it, and nobody did anything about it. And you wonder why Black folk get treated the way we get treated. I'm just saying. That baby I'm never going to forget that baby who got shot 96 times. And what's his family going to do about it? Nothing. Really? Nothing? We have these people have family members who will just look and say, well, poor Evers, poor Medgar. Even his wife, and I'm just saying, what kind of laws did she put on the book? Because she was Senate, right? She did win Senate, right? If I'm not mistaken. What laws did she put on the books? I rest my mic.
I understand, you know, and that is not necessarily, or I guess they like, well, he died in jail or something after like 5 years in jail. You know, he lived another 30 some years peacefully, and mad that the Black woman came out there, you know. But I want to show you this, right? Because back then a lot, I know they don't really publicize it, because like I said, I think that the whole thing was to of course keep us divided, of course, but to take that militant energy out of us, especially when you start seeing all of the leaders killed and whatever. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the year before this was even more riots. You know, they call it like the summer of love or whatever, but it was bloodshed all over the streets. But after Martin Luther King died, you know, there was some chaos, you know, as far as like Black people standing up for him.
We have information that King has been shot at the Lorraine. All TAC units on the call, you are to form a ring around the Lorraine Hotel. You're to form a ring around the Lorraine Hotel. No one is to enter or leave.
I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
The thing that I remember so well was the night King was assassinated. We had gone down to visit my mother's family in North Carolina, and we were driving back to New Jersey. And my mother had a brother here in Washington, so we got started late. And so my father said, well, let's go stay at, I guess it was Uncle Mac's house.
Here in Washington, the D.C. National Guard troops have been called for active duty for the weekend as fires and other outbreaks of disorder continue to plague the nation's capital.
And I remember that as we came across one of the bridges, I don't remember which one, my father points out and my mother pointed out that there was smoke in the distance. And so we just thought there was this big fire somewhere. And I remember as we're driving up George Avenue going to my uncle's house, there's a lot of activity.
Washington looks like a city at war, and it is. There are something like 4,000 troops in the city, and tanks rumble through the streets.
A machine gun post was set up on Capitol Hill. Black smoke can be seen billowing into the air in many parts of northwest Washington, some of the trouble just 3 blocks from the White House.
And we get in, and we still don't know what happened. We get in, and he tells us about the assassination, and I remember then being told to go to bed. And I could just still remember hearing glass being broken and people running up and down the street. And I remember somebody sort of yelling, they killed the dreamer kind of thing. And so I remember being terrified, thinking that, not only would Washington implode, but maybe the country would implode because the last great hope, or at least what we thought, was the last great hope for bridging the chasm between the races was killed. So for me, it's sort of this notion of King.
Now, understand this, right? I know a lot of black people want to be holding hands with little white boys and girls and stuff like this. And it's not about like whether you agree with Martin Luther King or whatever, like the point is, why they killed him, you know what I'm saying? Because he was a Negro doing something who many people perceived as this great, as a great hero and a great leader, and I'm not saying he wasn't to some people, it is what it is, but at the end of the day, what did they do to him? They shot Martin Luther King in the face, and you still don't understand like the language that they speak. The one who said, let's hold hands with them and make it equal and love for everybody, they shot him in the face. You understand? And I know after this era, black leadership, quote unquote, kind of took a hit because we see what happened. Because like the lady said, they don't live past their 30s. You know what I'm saying? This brother was like 35. You know what I'm saying? Or like the age I am now. Like if they shoot me in the face tomorrow, like I would be his age. You know what I'm saying? But you understand, like. Maybe but anyway, go ahead, Cassidra.
I was just looking to see exactly what did Medgar Evers' wife do after he died. I haven't read anything yet that she actually accomplished, but they gave her several awards. When white folk give you an award, that means they want to calm you down. You know what I'm saying? They want you to calm down because, and of course she did. She was maybe, they said she followed in his footsteps, but I don't see any accomplishments, that she did. You know what I'm saying? You can go to a speech or do a speech, but did you really make a difference? What did your husband died for nothing? Because you didn't even, I guess she, say, and I understand she did have children, small kids, but still, I didn't see where she, made it a big difference, after his death. So I don't know. It just makes no sense. We just, you marching. I see them marching and they was marching with, MLK, but nobody tried to get revenge. Black folk was, they were supposed to do some damage when he died and they didn't. James Brown or somebody came out there and calmed them down. So you should have known then that he was a sellout. They sent him out there to calm black folk down. But we have to, we got to do better. They do something to us, we supposed to fight back. We supposed to do something. I don't know what, something. They just, awards and give them money and they're comfortable and, and move forward, move on with life. Well, wasn't me. That's sad. I think, every time they do something to you, I think you're supposed to make a dent. You're supposed to make a difference. You're supposed to burn some stuff down. You're supposed to make a difference. I'm not condoning violence. I'm condoning injustice. You're supposed to make a difference. You're supposed to stand up and be heard or seen. And none of that is being done today. We just had a man down here in North Carolina, the one that got beat down. Got an old Rodney King beat down, right? And the week that we found out they had the furniture market, right? And what did black folk do? Nothing. Just forgot about it. Nobody said nothing. Nobody, they put it on the news, but it was hush hush because the furniture market. But they should have looked up, and all them furniture market builders should have been. They should have made one dime. They should not have made one single penny on that furniture market because them stores should have been burnt to the ground with all that furniture in there. Seriously. But nothing was said, nothing was done. So I'm like, you can forget it now. You didn't make a noise when you needed to. Rest my mic.
Yeah. And all right, so and I'll say this, and y'all can come on here after we talk about the next part too. Let me say this though, right? With I remember like one time that even I like a whole lot of stuff was happening, and I wasn't necessarily on here, and even during that time, right? Like a lot of stuff, you notice, like I never talked about like the whole January 6th stuff or none of that stuff, and it made me realize that you can't take a day off, because they are working way harder than you are working. You understand? And even now, right? Because I understand, like, sometimes we only want to pay attention to the stuff that is going to get us arguing, or maybe like like we like to do blackface stuff on here, and then they call people who take stuff extremists, and people try to stay away from you unless they think that you're talking about drama or something, and then all of a sudden everybody has something to say. But at the end of the day, when it comes to actually like protecting your community, we go out there every single day and we see the same results, and then all we do is talk about it. What is the point of talking about it if every time you're gonna find something? And I know I show negative stuff on here, but you understand, I'm not gonna sit here and talk negative about black people all day. I'm not gonna sit here if I don't agree with somebody or something they're not doing. I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me expose this black person, because we don't have that energy for nobody else. And it's because we are straight up cowards at the end of the day, and I get that how a lot of people who even claim that they are about that life or are conscious or whatever you want to call it, or woke as they would say now, it's just talking, because at the end of the day, like, really the change, we can say all of these things, but when you out there actually doing something, that's the things that's going to make you a target. And we can say well, this person has this thing, but I think they should be doing it this way. Well, that means that you need to create this organization and do it the way that you think it should be done. You show us how to do it. And if you say that, then all of a sudden now you are an extremist. And I can guarantee you, if I was even one of those black people who was quote unquote anti-racist and talk about people of color, it would be way more mainstream and acceptable how I talk about loving everybody, even if I talk about racism, white supremacy. Now, forget all of that anti-racism nonsense. I say not only protect yourself, but win, But another thing that I missed when I didn't talk about it, and that's why you don't really see a lot of on it, is that when the brother came out with the NFAC thing, and I want to show you a couple things, Cassidra. I know you talk about it, but you understand when we have these type of conversations, you see how it's not a lot of people in here, it's not a lot of whatever, when we start talking about actual real things. But when they think that we're talking about beef or not liking somebody or anything like that, now it's different. But that's because we are scared to actually do what we're supposed to do. We know it ain't no other choice. But if they come in and try to take your choice, at the end of the day, people only respect one thing. If somebody step to you, like, sometimes you just gotta smack them in the face or punch them in the face, or do what you got to do, you know. I'm gonna play a little bit of this.
Closed location to meet up with an armed black militia. And I'd imagine they don't want people to know where they are because there's a bunch of black folks with guns in the middle of Kentucky.
Louisville, I never thought I'd see this day. Now y'all got a chapter. That's what I'm talking about.
Grandmaster Jay is the commander of the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition. Yep, it's the largest armed black militia in the country. Today, he's meeting new members to see if their shooting meets his standards.
Don't come out here and try to qualify with a weapon that you're not comfortable with.
A lot of gunfire is about to go off, so I'm gonna find a safe place so I won't get shot.
Bring the boat forward. Range is hot, commence the fire.
When folks look at the NFAC, they see black folks with guns.
They've been socialized to think that when I see a black man with a weapon, then it instantly must be negative. But when I see a white person with a weapon, they must be doing something patriotic. If all you see is black men with guns, then I'm not the one with the visual problem. You are. The defense of the black race does not mean attacking someone. It means just that. Defending against attacks. It's not the NFAC that has a record of violence. It is the long historical record of violence being exacted against black people. Grab your weapons. Get on this line.
I think all hell is about to break loose.
Grab your weapons. I give you all a chance to demonstrate the full firepower of your chapter in the event that somebody is stupid enough to point a weapon at you. If that happens, you have the right to use everything that you have. NFAC, open fire.
All right, I'll play one more, but I guarantee you won't hear anything about this brother from black people. That's for most black people. The first thing, if you see any comments, would probably be something negative. Just like every other black person that I've ever shown on here trying to do something. If you don't know them personally or like them, the first thing people say is something negative about that person, which is like, okay, you don't trust them. I don't agree with always going at other black people because to me that sounds a bit clonish, you know what I'm saying? But God forbid I call you a clone or point out the things that you say or do that is kind of coonish, you know what I'm saying? But the first thing that you're going to hear when I pick up anybody who try to do something is like something negative every single time, you know? And all right, so I'm going to play this.
Heading to federal prison for 7 years. The sentence for Grandmaster Jay stems from him pointing a rifle at a federal officer.
And as WDRB's Jalen Level explains, it may be meant to send a larger message.
Faith leaders, activists, and several others packed the steps of the federal courthouse for John Johnson, better known as Grandmaster Jay.
Mercy, that he would grant grace, and that he would grant justice and complete freedom, exoneration for Grandmaster Jay.
That was the hope, just hours before Johnson's sentencing. In May, a federal jury convicted the leader of the black militia group on 2 counts of assaulting a federal task force officer and brandishing a firearm during the Breonna Taylor protest in 2020.
He would not have been here in the first place had that warrant not been alive. So now you have to do right by justice, because if you know you found alive, then you got to free up the people that was persuaded by the lie.
Wednesday, Johnson was sentenced to 86 months in prison. The judge dismissed the first count of assaulting a federal task force officer, which would have brought a higher sentence of up to 20 years.
I believe that this sentence is a reflection of the federal judiciary beginning to send a message, and it starts with Jan 6.
While this case does not relate to the January 6th insurrection, legal expert Larry Wilder says he believes the sentence for Johnson coincides with federal judges cracking down after January 6th.
I think it's a kind of a don't bring your guns. You know, I truly think that the judges are sentencing people, and the message is don't become violent. Don't be in a place where violence can become it becomes incendiary.
Just moments after Johnson was sentenced, the same protesters returned to the steps with a different message.
A miscarriage of justice. In Louisville, the Commonwealth of Kentucky has taken place. And quite frankly, it's an embarrassment to all of our humanity.
Now, what you think about that, Cassidra?
You know what? I heard the man say not to bring your guns, but they bring their guns all the time, right? But it's okay when they bring their guns, right? It's okay. But we all know that they use their laws against us when they see. And what did Hoover say? Hoover said they're gonna stop the next one that want to rise, right? Well, I don't know the exact words, but you guys know what I'm saying. So every time they think it's one that's gonna rise, the next leader, they're gonna shut them down. You understand what I'm saying? But did you see how many black folk out of almost 1 million people? Did you see how many black folk was out there to support him? Do you believe that if they would have burned some shit down, do you really believe that he would have got 7 years? I'm just saying. Sometimes we have to show how upset we are. But we'll talk about it. And then we'll talk about, well, you know, he was an agent. He was the... I ain't never known no agents to get 7 years. I'm just saying. I ain't never known no agents to get 7 years. No time period. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, those are agents. How much time they've ever gotten for anything. You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear black folk, when I see black folk trying to help black folk to be free, and then I hear black folk, it was so many people that had something negative to say about this brother. But nobody dared to try it. I didn't see anybody trying to perfect it. I didn't see anybody starting their own group to say, hey, let me show you how it's done, the NFAC. Let me show you how to do it. Nobody did that. But everybody had so much to say because they was nervous. He made them nervous. That's a shame. He trying to get you free and you scared. What the hell? Where they do that at? Nobody was ready to step up with him. It should have been a movement across America, across the country. That dude reached way in Africa, UK. He had groups all over America. But where it should have been the strongest was in America. That's the sad part about it. Americans, the black folk don't want to stand up for black people. Well, you know, they started mumbling and grumbling. Well, and was down deep talking negative about this brother. This is your own brother. They jumped on the bandwagon with white folk. I'm like, look at this. Boy, the fear was real. The fear was real. And if anybody spent time listening to on Instagram, because I used to go on Instagram and I used to listen because I want to see. Was it real? I want to find out for myself. I don't want to hear anybody else. I don't need anybody else to tell me anything. I'm listening. I'm tuning into the lives, fact over feeling. I'm listening because I wanted to hear. He was reading that book that Matron read about the Black civilization. He was starting that book. He would read different books, right? And would help, give us different ideas of books that we needed to read. You know what I'm saying? And I bought a couple of them. But nobody wanted to protect him when it was time to show up. They let him down. But that's what we always do. We'll go and hide. We just some scared ass black folk. We're just scared as hell. We so scared of America. They got us well trained. Y'all niggas, I tell you, they got us well trained. We ain't gonna kill a fly, ain't gonna lift a hand. We'll just let the fly be all in your face. You ain't gonna swat the fly. Because I'm afraid they're gonna think I'm being violent. So I'm gonna get shot for swat the fly. Just let the fly all in. You know what I'm saying? We don't ever, and that's the sad part about it. We don't ever step forward. One for all for one. That's how it should have sounded nationwide. That courtroom should have been drowned out. You know what I'm saying? Kentucky knew everybody on their trial. Those DAs, they knew what they was doing. They said he had brandished a weapon, but it was somebody on the building, and he was trying to use the flashlight to see who was on the building. So was he really banishing a weapon? You knew he had the gun. It's not banishing anything. You knew he had the weapon. He was trying to see who was at the top of the building. And they did that on purpose. And it took months for them to actually bring charges against him. But I rest my mic.
Yeah, no, what's going on? And by the way, Bakari is just joined. What's going on, brother Bakari? I was just about to bring you up, my brother.
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
All right. And Bakari, before you speak, my brother, because I want to say this, because I would say this, y'all two are the only ones that was talking about this brother, you know. And I'm not gonna play this, but Bakari actually, you know, had to debate a brother about this. I'm gonna play just a minute of what you said, Bakari.
I can tell you exactly where I was. Watch this. You the exact same person who want us to say John Brown was good and what he did was great, but you see a black man. And what you can do is you can find a problem. Me, I don't like to call nobody no coward. I just see a lot of black men complaining about black people getting arms ready to fight. They sound like cowards. I ain't gonna call you no coward. I'm saying what it sounds like to me. Sound cowardly. I'm not saying you're a coward. You're a coward. Black people, you're coward-ish. Sorry,
you know what? All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. So what's going on, my brother Bakari?
What's going on?
Not much.
Yeah, you know what? When Cassandra, what's going on, Cassandra? When Cassandra was talking and you was talking, I'm gonna tell you something. And the sad thing is, it was mostly black men talking, right? It was mostly black men that was dumping on Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC. Black men, I just had this conversation with somebody today. Black men with big channels, but people still watch them. People still watch them. So in order to make money on social media, let's just crap on black. Let's just crap on black. We're gonna crap on anything black. We're gonna take a dump on anything black, especially if it's something that I'm afraid to do. I'll say we need it, but I'm afraid to do it. And that's what happened. I can call a couple of names now. I'm gonna call 3 right now. But it was more than them, but these 3 who did it the most. Starting with the one dude, Moore's World TV, then Yvette Carnell, and y'all favorite scammer, Tariq Nasheed. That's all they did. The one guy, the first name I said, built his channel. But I can go on and on and on. I can name more people than that. It was mostly men. Then you had the look like the half-breed guy, Yvette. But that's what it was. So when it comes to doing something, and most of these folks just talking about he a scammer, he this, he that. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this.
With no proof,
when they did,
right? No proof. They had one ounce of proof. Go ahead.
So they did a drive-by at that Wendy's in Atlanta where Rayshard Brooks was killed. Some white folks did a drive-by on some black people out there popping fireworks at Juneteenth. And Anuli's with me now. When we found out, me and Anuli went down there the next day, the next night. We went down there. We were ready. So the next day we go. Do you know what the NFAC was? Next day I go. The NFAC had their people, because they talking about they coming back and what they gonna do to black people out there. The NFAC was out there, suited and booted. So ain't nobody else coming through here. Ain't nobody else coming through here doing this. But everybody who's talking bad about it wouldn't have got up and been willing to do nothing of the sort. Not at all. So when I say I turned off 98% of social media, this is the reason I turned it off. This is the reason I don't listen to a lot of these folks, because it's useless. Because you're not going to give me one thing good, then 10 things bad, and I'm going to forget the bad just to say, yeah, but you did this. Sometimes we got to be willing to let folk go. Yeah, they black, but they ain't on your team. You got to let them go. I'm just being honest. Because we constantly hold on to people saying they're black, hoping they change. No, you got to be willing to let folk go. And if we ain't willing to let people go, the same stuff is going to continue to happen because you will continually let these same type of people around. Because unfortunately, it's those type of people that had an ear to a lot of our folks. But that's why I deal with the youth a lot. On there, I hear the mic.
But even with that forecast, he had a lot of women that was backing him. A lot. Where was the men? That's the sad part about it. We were so we already knew but a lot of men weren't going to join because there was a lot of men like, online talking trash, right? But the women was backing him. That's who backed him. The women. Like when he went to Stone Mountains, it was a lot of women out there. Shut the Klan down. Shut them down. And then he went down there to Ahmaud Arbery. Remember? The white boys pulled up. They saw them guns. What they asses do? They turned around and booked. See, this is what I'm saying. When the rabbit got the gun, them white folk ain't ready. They not ready like they say. Because when they saw them niggas with guns in Georgia, they didn't come approaching him. They didn't say nothing. They went on about their business. That's how you know how punkish they is. They talk a lot of mess. But when black folks showed up for Ahmaud Arbery, them crackers didn't come out there. They sure didn't. They saw it if they see out there. They didn't approach. They didn't say nothing. They went on about their business. But we're going to have to be like Harriet Tubman. Because we're going to have to take care of some of our own. Because what she do to her brother. Brother was finna turn around and go back. She said, not today, you not. Not today. I'm going to have to hurt you right here and right now. Ain't that what she told him? What'd he do? Okay. Because he would have went back there and told, because he'd been scared. And he told everything. Because he knew most of the trail. He knew enough. So that's what we're going to have to take care of our own. We're going to have to handle some business with our own first. That's the sad part. Because you're going to have some Candace Owens out there talking trash. Candace Owens should have been slapped in her mouth a long time ago. The first word she said about black folk, somebody's fist should have went in her mouth. Shut the hell up. But we don't do that. We let people talk trash about black folk. YouTube let people talk trash. Facebook let black folk talk trash about black folk. They let anybody talk trash. Say something about them oohs. Say something. You going to Facebook jail. You going to YouTube jail, and every other jail they got. Because white folk don't let you talk about their own. Cal Rittenhouse killed 3. Well, shot 3 and murdered 2, and didn't get no jail time. You know why? Because them folk was out there fighting for black folk. What you mean? You out of order. That's why he didn't go to jail. They was out of order. White folk don't play that. Here I go talking about this white woman. Remember white woman back in civil rights? She got shot in the face. It was a boycott, bus boycott, right? Helping black folk go back and forth to work. Her husband said stop. Her husband was afraid for her. She didn't care. She went on out there, dropped off her last person, and guess what happened to her? She got shot in the face because she was helping black folks. She was off code. They don't play when you get off code. We don't want to allow people to get off code with us. We don't want to allow Candace Owens and Roland Martins and Eldridge and all these other fools. We don't want, and Barkley. We don't want to allow stupid stuff like that. And just sit there and look at them. And they talk more trash and get paid to talk even more trash. We never handle that. That's our fault. That's our fault. We should have shut them down a long time ago. Cynthia G, all that stuff. I went on her. I was like, whoa, who is it? Oh, wow, she's something else. She should have been shut down a long time ago. Long time ago. But we don't ever do anything about it. We just, oh, well, God will get them. We're going to pray for them. I'm done. We did that. It's time to move. I'll rest my mic.
Hey, folks, let me say something right quick. Let me say something right quick, right? When Cassidra said them white folks down there in Georgia didn't move, I want y'all to understand. There wasn't just no white civilians that didn't move. That was the police that came.
That's right.
And tried to make the NFAC move. And black folks, I'm going to put it where it belongs. I'm going to be honest. And black men ignored that so they could make them some money on social media. Once again, I would tell folks, I turned them off. See, I don't know nothing Candace Owens said no more. I don't listen. I don't know nothing. Anything I say about Tariq Nasheed, Yvette Carnell, the dude don't ever show his face, neither one. Anything I say about those people gonna be past, way past. I turned them off. There is no need, because if we watch them, we listen to them, we are supporting them. And I don't support them in no way, shape, or form. Just by listening to them and watching them, we're supporting them. I ain't telling nobody else what to do. But I'm saying for me, I turned them off because there's no need. There's no need. Because I've been planning to do a show. I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. Because I'm going to talk about the mind of black folks. And this the mind of black folks, how we let that go on. Because this thing, it is so deep. I don't know if y'all, I'm just going to, let me say this, because I'm going to get up, because I'm over my lady house. So I'm going to get up. But so, we was, but we listening though. But I like boxing. I'm a Devin the Dream Haney fan because of how his father, Bill Haney, stand up for him. You would be amazed how many black men hate Devin Haney because he have a relationship with his father. I've heard him call in the stations cussing him out because they have because there's a great black father and son duo. I see black people pull for him to lose because he deal with his father. Everything ain't always on them other folks, like black folks being scared. It ain't them other folks. We're going to have to look in the mirror. And the people who supporting people like that, this is just my opinion, going to have to look in the mirror like, why am I still listening to them? Why do they get any support from somebody? Why do they get support from us? And we know what they're doing. I don't care what it is. That's just my take. I get them.
All right, yeah, definitely. I appreciate you coming on here, Bakari. And let me say this, right? Now this here is right, because no matter who I put up there or no matter what, there's gonna be somebody in here that finds something negative to say about a black person, especially somebody talking about, arm yourself and defend yourself. They're gonna find something negative to say about all of that, And I'll say this, and I disagree. Like the only thing I would disagree with y'all about is like, but I wouldn't say that to y'all because y'all have the same smoke. But I think that other people generally say that type of stuff because they don't have smoke for anybody else but their own. They're going to find the flaws with the black people, but they're never gonna like, and then they're gonna turn around and support, somebody else from another group who have those same flaws, So like, I think I wouldn't say us more so or not necessarily, because I think that the whole thing that creates all of that is whatever, And I agree with you about not listening, but the thing is, right? And the people who listening, because most of the people who are listening would be like the people who you, Bakari, would call like unknowing or like how you put it, like uninformed people who just don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we have to start dissecting how this even gets developed to get like, as the 5%ers will say, the 85%, you know what I'm saying? Why they're even attracted to people like that, like the people who you named, And that's because the whole point is, when it comes to that, is like, yo, that's why we even talking about the trauma and all of that stuff. You're not going to look for a strong leader. You're going to be opposed to that. You're going to seek out, you know what I'm saying, the negative stuff, because it's not about necessarily the people who doing it. They're always going to find somebody doing it. It's why so many people follow that. And then, because it's not a coincidence that those same people have a negative attitude towards somebody who may be doing something for the people that they may not have done. And usually it's going to be people who aren't doing anything. But yeah, Bakari, you want to say something? I know you got to get off, my brother. You want to say something to that? I don't know if you heard it, if you fell out. You there?
I don't know if y'all can even hear me, because I sure can't hear nobody.
We can hear you.
I can hear you now. You might got to go out and come back in if you can't hear us. Yeah, you got to go out and come back
Even
in.
with that forecast, what you were saying, even with that, until he come back and then we'll let him talk. Even with that, you have the so-called the so-called woke folk, right? The main black media like Phil Scott, Jason Black, Phil, what Professor Truth. Nobody backed him. Why do you think that is? All of these black folk that say they woke, not one backed him. Why? Why do you think?
Well, I would say this, it's for the
And then wait
same
a minute,
thing.
and then you had one that backed him for a minute and then turned against him. Was it just to be nosy to see if he was real, or was you really backing him? I don't think you was. I'm just saying the person that joined him for a minute, they was hanging out, and she was real cool with him at first, and then all of a sudden she went against him. I'm like, what happened to that? Was you just pretending to be cool with him until you really found out he was a shit? You know what I'm saying? You really found out he was really gonna do something. Then you got scared. But you've been talking all the time about doing something. But then when you got with him, you totally change your tune and start talking like the rest of the folk. So I'm just saying, I just need to know why nobody supported him. That was really on that so-called main meter, like Jason Black. He never supported him. Had something to say against him too. And I'm like, really? You of all people? Now that's the killer of all black folk, I think. But he has a following of 1 million people, right? But he talks so bad to black men and about black women. It's how are you black first when you have a whole show called The Business and you have disrespected your own sisters? I mean, bad too. How are you black first when you disrespecting your own sisters? I don't know. Do they really know what black first mean? I don't think so. I rest my mic.
All right. And Bakari, did you hear what we were saying, Bakari?
I couldn't hear. I heard it then because I came back in another way. I heard she ended up and she was talking about those faceless creatures that won't show their face, right? And talk tough, talking about the ones who you can tell scamming. And the reason I call them that because they scam. All you got to do is listen to them. I tell people all the time, listening is an art. Listening is an art. If you have to take the time to listen.
Yep.
Be patient. Just listen to them talk. And you can tell that's all they are. See, I ain't even say that. See, you notice I didn't even say their name when I mentioned the ones who talk. I could name more than that.
Because I'm gonna call them out.
No, but what I'm saying is, but what I'm saying is I only called 3 names. And one of them, because I told you it's way more names I can call.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
they can do that and get away with it because black people is gonna steal.
Hey, Anthony, could you mute real quick, my brother? All right, go ahead.
They can do that and get away with it because black people gonna still support them. Why do you think these people can say and do whatever they want to say and do to black people? Because they know there's no backlash over nothing. It's a few folks. So for me, I just turned them off. And whoever feel they need those people, they need words, listen to them. If that's what you feel you need, but just don't tell me about them. Because I ain't gonna listen to them. Like I said, if don't nobody tell me nothing they said, I would not know anything. I wouldn't know anything they said. And that's just the honest truth. I've been shut them off. I'm like, man, these folks ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing but talk. But on that, man, look, I thank you for letting me speak. Man, step down. What's going on, Anthony? So I'm gonna get off here, man. Peace. I'm gonna listen offline.
Appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, appreciate you for coming on here, my brother Bakari. I know you've been running every other time. Now I'm chucking, brother. I just had to say that while you were here.
I've been listening. I've been listening. I've been listening, but I came up here this time.
Everybody mad at me, Bakari. All right, my brother.
Let them
peace
stay
out,
mad.
my brother. Peace out, my brother. But yeah, man. And Blanca said they lost on this conversation. You're gonna have to watch the replay. It's all good. But we talking about every time that somebody comes up and do something, and I'm using these because Bakari and Cassidra talk about NFAC all the time, because the first thing people is going to say is something negative about anybody that I've ever shown or anybody who tried to do anything, you know what I'm saying? But you know, so that's the thing that we talking about. Why don't we support each other? And the thing is, and I'm especially with certain people, I like to use certain people because you know that's the people that y'all go against, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and most times, like I was saying, like Cassidra and Bakari got that energy for most, but most people don't have that energy for the same. Anybody else can come in your community and scam you. And you know, real quick to answer your question, Cassidra, you know, like I said, if I was on here talking about anti-racism and black and brown and people of color, I would get a whole lot more than saying we have no friends and you know what I'm saying, all the stuff that I say, you know, because that's just what it is. And when black people are doing something, they call us militant, they call us like racist and stuff, like when it's not even an insult. You should be, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let my brother Anthony say something, then Cassidra can go in, and then you know. Oh well, he fell off. He gonna be back on. But you want to say something, Cassidra?
I just, I don't even know. Sometimes it's just really confusing in how we act. And you just don't even know what to say because no matter how that dude was out and nobody did their homework, everybody was scared, running scared. That's the sad part. You were like, well, why don't you get to know? Why don't you, why don't you listen to what he's saying? Go on some of the IG because he was on Instagram a lot, right? And nobody went on there just to find out. Everybody was told he was Trump supporter. He was with Trump, and I'm like, no, he was running for president at that time, and nobody understood that. I'm like, and he talks about it. If you ever listen to him, you'll talk about it. And if you look it up, he was running for president at the same time, but he was running as an independent, and they wouldn't give no talking, no speaking time. So he thought he'd go there and corner Trump, but Trump left early. You know what I'm saying? So he talks about all of that. And that's why they didn't understand because they didn't bother listening. You have to listen to what people say. Like Corey said, listen to see what's going on. And just like Blanca said, blacks hate positive blacks, and that's what it is. And you're right. And we've been taught. When did that happen? When we started allowing them to educate us? Because remember that letter I wrote talking about thank you, black folk, for doing this, that, and the other. They was thanking black folk for not supporting their own and thanking us for protecting them. And they said, oh, it's always wanted to be in the crowd that'll protect you. They thanked us for that. Y'all should read that letter sometime just to freshen your memory up. They said, we got to get them niggas to the point where they only trusting us. And aren't we there? I rest my mic.
Yeah, what's going on, my brother? Blanca said, "Black hate positive blacks, and that's what it is." Yeah, that's what we're talking about, and like that's why we looked at because the last week, like, yo, you see what they did tomorrow? They scared. That's another part of it, but anyway, go ahead, my brother Anthony.
Hey, how y'all doing, man? What's going on?
Good, my brother. How you doing?
What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, Miss Cassidra? How you doing, brother Forecast? Yeah, yeah, man. I'm sorry I'm late, man. I had some stuff to do, but yeah, I pretty much agree with what everybody was saying. But it's an old thing, man. I mean, it's the same old story over and over again, man. Of why black people don't support black people who fighting for us. And I mean, you could take it back to the 19th century, man, when you had brothers like Frederick Douglass. Now, Frederick Douglass, well, we would look at him today as more like a militant integrationist. You know what I'm saying? Well, what Forecast, when you talk about those people of color and all, that's the kind of, he talk about that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? He was an all lives matter type dude, really. A brother who at the same time, who was his chief rival was a brother named Henry Howland Garnett. And I don't know if you ever heard of Henry Howland Garnett.
Yeah, I know who that is. Mm-hmm.
He was a bad brother, man. He was like, we need to do something for ourselves, man.
Yeah, well, like one of the original Pan-African brothers, right?
Yeah, Henry Howland Garnett. He had Martin Robertson Delaney. And so he had Martin Robertson Delaney and Henry Howland Garnett and Frederick Douglass. At one time, they was all working together. But they fell out because, Frederick Douglass was with we need to we need to blend into America and, you know, become Americans and, you know, and get our respect as Americans, you know, and hold hands with the white man, you know. And the other brothers, those two brothers was like, no, they was for black empowerment and everything, you know what I'm saying? And the same old kind of slanders that you have against brothers today, you know, like what you had against Malcolm X or against the brother we talking about now, Brother Jay. You know, they had to face the same old kind of thing. You know, Frederick Douglass was going around saying, these guys up here talking about black folks doing for their own self instead of us being part of America. No, they had to go through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and the people was turning on them, you know. I mean, here they go, brothers who saying, you know, hey man, look here, let's lift ourselves up, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's empower ourselves. Let's go do something for ourselves. Let's go get on our knees and beg white folks to do nothing for us. Let's go do it for ourselves. That's what Martin Robertson Delaney was about. You know what I'm saying? That's what Henry Highland Garnett was about. That's what the Honorable Marcus Garvey was about. That's what Malcolm X was about. You know what I'm saying? And even in Malcolm's lifetime, you had Negroes running around saying what? Man, what Malcolm trying to do? Trying to get us all killed? You know what I'm saying? Trying to get us all killed because they were scared. Now this brother saying, hey man, you ain't got to stay on your knees all the time, you know what I'm saying? And beg this motherfucker. You know what, let him beat you upside your head. You know what I'm saying? Hey, stand up and be a man. Bust him back upside his head. You know what I'm saying? He might stop hitting you then. You know what I'm saying? And if he don't, at least you went out like a man. But you know, the other Negroes came up with all that old, no, we gonna be peaceful and we gonna hold hands and we gonna fight the struggle together, you know, to make America a better world for all people. And look what that they got you now. You know what I'm saying? Look what they got you now. You know, you basically still in the same situation you was in 1968. You know, when they killed Dr. King. But you know, I think you said the main thing, man. A lot of our people are just plain old scared. You know, you scared to die. You know what I'm saying? You scared because when Malcolm was talking about, remember Malcolm said, don't be talking that revolutionary talk because if you knew what a revolution was about, you know, you'll back down off of that. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm said because the price of freedom is death. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you gonna have to, hey, that's something you're gonna have to kill and you're gonna die for. Yeah, that knock off right there, man.
Yeah, you know, and they was like, yeah, how many bought Trump shoes but won't support black sellers? And that's what I'm talking about. Every time that we somebody is out here doing something, but at the same time, I want people to remember is you can't let anybody stop you, especially other black people, you know. And I'm not going to say that, I won't say that we are worse, you know, me personally, but you have to not let anybody stop you because it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? They cannot stop you. And that's why we even having these conversations, you know. And if you can do something better, then you should definitely go out there and do it, you know. And I want to show y'all something because it stems back to, you know, even what we're talking about. And we didn't even get into the other parts that y'all going to about like how there are a lot of black people who are put out there to mislead people and who do scam, who, because yeah, they should be held accountable. Like everybody should be held accountable. That's what I'm saying. If you commit a crime against black people, you need to be held accountable, you know. But typically most of us don't hold nobody but other black people accountable, and we'll go ask all kinds of questions that we'll never ask anybody else, or have smoke that we'll never have for nobody else, you know. But at the same time, you know, and I want to play this because it goes back to even when black people are trying to create something for black people, you know. It's hard to get, you know, the support and help from other black people. And it is true, because even when we were doing that, I had people who I never thought that, you know, would accuse me of like I'm scamming, or I'm not doing something right, or I'm misusing something, or any of these things. But this was the same ones that say, well, you can't just talk, you have to do something. So you try to do something. And I'm like, I don't want to be the one doing it. I want all of us to do it. But everybody looks at you like you need to be doing it. But then when you do it, they find something negative to say. That's why I always take it wrong, especially when you're not doing it. Because if you are, I could be like, okay, you point out where you're doing it wrong at. You know what I'm saying? And all right, so let me play this one. Right?
In 2020, 78% of venture capital investment partners were white, 15% Asian, and just 3% Black, according to a VC Human Capital survey.
I just got a couple of bills that I need to approve, I guess.
Yeah. Marcus Whitney was a.
So he's like, you see that who's funding the businesses and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, we get the whole parts around it because I never going, and this is what other people do. They have one-sided conversations. I'm never going to leave out how that Black people generally have less money, you know what I'm saying? But also in the last couple years, because I think that this is a problem for the last couple decades, but looking at our whole history, this is just a relatively short time, you know what I'm saying? But I want to play this, you know, why Black people, it's hard for us to support.
We hear it all the time. Why do we have to keep saying support Black business? Asians don't really scream like that. White people don't scream like that. Jewish people damn sure don't scream like that. Why is it? What is the problem? Why we're quick to stereotype good Black business? That's bad business all around, not just Black. They didn't break the mold with us when it comes to bad business. But what is it about? Support. What is it about? You seeing somebody trying to get out there and do something, and you criticize them, say, well, he's struggling, or the business ain't hanging on. Why ain't you supporting it? Especially if it got good products that you do respect, music that you do like, products, apparel that you do like, but you try to cheat them out of it, but have no problem going to anybody else and paying exactly what the tag says. This is the biggest problem. Then if they expand themselves over and go after white fans from music standpoint or white business, then he ain't keeping the Black dollar in the community. Which way you want it? How do you want it? Because if your community ain't supporting you, what do you supposed to do? We keep saying support Black business, meme, support Black business, logo, support Black business, share it on social media, but yet you still do not get the support. It's tough. We say it all the time. We claim, we watch something on TV and you see it all the time. Man, you know, we got to stick together, man. That's the problem with everybody, man. We don't want to stick together. You get inspired by certain things that happen, certain events that happens. You get inspired. I'm going to buy Black for a couple seconds, a day. I'm going to support Black history. Nah, man, I ain't supporting Black history, man, because Black history 24/7, 365. You can't even support it for a month, let alone boycott. Okay. Here come we're gonna boycott Black Friday. Man, please, they got sales. We're becoming a joke. Seriously, a bunch of talkers, a bunch of people that say the right thing, but in their pockets, they don't pay the right thing. You may say the right thing, but you don't pay the right thing. And that's our problem.
All right. And shouts out to Shanique. Yeah. We say everybody late, but we about to get off in a little while. Shouts out. I appreciate Shanique in the building. But yeah, what you think about that, Cassidra?
I agree with everything he said. But we already know why. People don't get it. We have been so hoodwinked, brainwashed, call it whatever you want, and watching this TV, listening to the music, just by education, every issue, every entity, they're showing you how to hate you. Every area, every time you look around, it's hate on Black folk, hate on Black folk, hate on Black folk, and we have turned it on ourselves. Hate on each other, not support. Shiva, you know, or you coming over wanting a deal, looking for a bargain. You looking for them to give you something. Did you look for a bargain when you go to Walmart? You know what I'm saying? But they'll come to your business. What you got for sale? Everything. That's what you need to say, everything. You know, everything for sale with your money. But until we learn how to come together and support and educate and be around us more and get them out of your circles, nothing is going to change because we don't know how. We don't even know when we got integrated. We don't even know when we got brainwashed. We just automatically do it. You can walk down the street and don't even be thinking you grabbing your purse. What you grabbing your purse for? You know what I'm saying? Because they told you to. Why you not trusting your brother? Why you not going in that store? I'll go to a place out here, and the man he retired. He had a peach cobbler place, right? I see more white folk in there supporting his brother than black folk. I go in there faithfully because I love me some peach cobbler, and it's really good, right? But I see more white folk, and I'm like, where's the black people? This is a black business. And I guess once they found out it was a black man, they quit going. I don't know. I was like, what are we doing? But it's so sad. I see black folk in the Chinese restaurant. They feeding your dog and everything else. They don't even like you. You'll get them. You force them to take your money. I see black folk in these all white establishments eating. Are you crazy? We'll be driving. Me and my husband will go on a drive, and I make sure. I say, well, if it's not a black area, not if it's got to be some black folk in there. I'm not eating in all white established. Nothing. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not doing it. I'm not in the MLK Day. We're not in 63. You ain't gonna force me to take my money. I'm not gonna force you to take my money either. But I'm not going in there. I'm not gonna support you. I support everything black. But every part of my business, they got to be black. If they're not black, okay. But I'm gonna try to find somebody black, I swear, before I deal with anybody else. But that's the mindset, and it's done on purpose. I keep my mindset black. I told you I needed a cleaner. Asked the guy. He said, "Oh, it's a black guy." He said, "Oh, it's a nice little, it's a nice woman. She got a business and everything." First thing I said is, "She black?" He looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Is she black? I don't give my money to just anybody." He said, "No, she's Asian." I said, "Hell no. Sorry, no. They don't even like black people. I don't even get my nails done by them. I don't get nothing done. I don't even let them touch my feet. That's how much I'm not giving you my money. I don't even go to a black beauty salon or a black supply place. I mean, a Asian supply place. I have a black one I go to, faithfully. And I tell people he's right down the street from the Asian, and I see black folk. I sit in the parking lot sometime, and I see black folk will choose the Asian over there on. What are we doing? We don't even know we're blamed. We don't even know we're brainwashed. That's the sad part about it. We don't even know it. And we're so hard on each other. You go in a black-owned business, and they don't give you enough food. You on the internet talking about it. What? Why? What are you doing? Do you do that when you go to the white business and they give you this little small plate and you pay them $15, $20 for their little plate? You don't say nothing, do you? You give it and then give a tip. But go to your own, you got to pay $12. You have to fit. And then don't want a tip. Come on. We got to do better. We got to change this on purpose. We have to. We have to be more aware of how we treat each other. We have to be more aware of what we're doing to each other. We have to be more aware on the thinking. It's the way we think. But you got to change that. You got to be more aware of what you're thinking about your brother. If you catch yourself when you see a black person on the street, if you catch yourself looking down, stop it today. Look up and speak to your brother. Speak to your sister. Hold the door open for your brother. We won't even do that. We know we know we need some tweaking. If everybody tweaked, we'll be fine. But we won't. We won't even start. I rest my mic.
Yeah, that's a fact, and like I said, everyone wants to hook up. Shanique said facts. There's a lot of things in movies and music, etc. Like I said, and mom has chickens and sell eggs for $2.50 a carton, and people still be looking for the hookup. Yeah, that's crazy.
Ain't just something. You ain't got $2 for eggs. So what we doing? And it won't come there for a discount. Seriously, come on. Hey, Shanique.
Always going to black people for a discount, And Shanique said we are doing what the rest of the country is doing because everyone has contempt for us. We practice it as well. Yeah, and we know what Black leaders have been deemed as. So to be that, you know, people are scared to death. Like, oh, they just gonna do what they did to Malcolm X. So what? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, maybe you should do something about it. You know what I'm saying? If you know that. But anyway, go ahead, my brother Anthony.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, that's a trip, man. 'Cause I know, hey, man, I know when I was, it's this company I used to work at, man. I worked there for about 13 years, man. But it was a sister who lived up in the neighborhood, you know, where the company was located at, and she used to cook and bring plates up there, you know, to the job. You know, she sold plates out of her house. And like, you know, man, you'll get like we'll get some good, you know, we Southern boys, man. So we get some good fried chicken and some string beans and some rice and gravy. So had a good old soul food plate. And she was giving you a good plate, and she was charging like $5. And don't you know, and like, you know, was that was cheap at that time? You know, this was like back in 2015. And so, you know, everybody was buying a place, but she said, well, you know, because we don't understand. A lot of us don't understand business. I mean, you know, us who buying the place don't understand that this woman got to buy meat. You know what I'm saying? She got to buy stuff. She got to buy supplies and everything, cooking oil, everything. You know, to do that. So she kind of went up on her prices a little bit, and she went up probably about like $8, and it wasn't bad. Hey, to tell the truth, to me, I thought it was worth that. What she was doing, I thought it was worth $8 anyway. You know, or maybe more. But I'm just saying, don't you know Negroes just stop buying plates on a woman, man? You know what I'm saying? They just stop. Oh man, she went too high. But like I was just thinking like what Sister Consider just said. Well, you go to the hungest place, you don't say that shit. You know what I'm saying? You go to Chick-fil-A or whatever, you don't say, oh man, y'all too damn high. You shut your mouth and buy that shit.
And they ain't giving you no whole lot of food at Chick-fil-A either.
Exactly. And that's the point.
A little bitty sandwich, 2 bites.
And that's the point I was making. This one was giving us like, you know, a big old give you a breast or thigh, you know, and a couple of legs and wings, you know, and every, you know, giving you a full plate. You know how a full Southern soul food plate looks. You know how that looks. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and she went up $3, you know, and Negro stopped buying plates, you know, so she moved around and went somewhere else. But I'm just like, man, you know, Negro. And then it's another store in that same neighborhood, no, right on down the street where they would all go up there and buy plates. There's a white woman back there cooking. There's a white woman, they own the stuff. But you know, they put some Negroes out there to make it look like, you know, look like it's our shit. But really it's a white woman on the stove and she doing the cooking, and she was cooking some red beans and rice one day. And come on, you know, I'm a Louisiana man. And you know, I grew up on red beans and rice. I told her what, and I bought a plate. I was there because we was on lunch break. I had to get it because, you know, we didn't have it like 25 minutes. So I bought a plate. I came out there. I was sitting outside eating, and I remember I said, you know what, man, who cooked this food? Because I didn't know she was doing the cooking. I said, who cooked this food? I said to myself, because the food wasn't even seasoned. I'm like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? Some red beans and rice unseasoned. I said right there, man, we come down here and buy some shit from this motherfucker. She don't even know how to cook, and then they gave you nothing. And you spent $7.95 for this old plate. And I fed the plate to the dog. And she came out and see me feed it she see me give it to the dog. You said, well, what's wrong? I got to go, man. I got my lunch break over with. I can't finish this shit. But I'm just saying, man, we laid there and let the sister who was giving us big plates, nice plates, we started crying. I didn't, but they started crying to my she went up too high. And now the only thing we had left was this old cracker down the street who don't know nothing about cooking no soul food. You know what I'm saying? I mean, then we gotta get off of that bullshit, man. We gotta get off of that shit, man. That's just some fucked up shit, man. I can't understand that shit, man. I just can't understand.
Yeah, and you know, that's just, you know, how it is, and that's where we get to this whole brainwashing stuff. And that's why I always say, like, that's why I was telling, you know, my friend, you know, my neighbor, you know, who is a black woman who wants to be down, but she sometimes have doubts because we have the same conversations that we have on here. you know. But I'm trying to explain that we may not even see that day, you know, and that's the sad part about it. But understand that it will happen, it will come. That's why I say it's with the children, it's teaching them this, because we are taught and bred to not want to do that. And I was gonna say this, like what Blanca said, you know, everywhere has went up, but like $2-3. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the damn grocery store, look how much you pay. You know, I wouldn't go to Kroger if I didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? But if I, you know, but we lost a lot of skills as far as like even learning how to kill your own chickens, or you know, get eggs, or you know, or pigs, have your own pigs and stuff like that. My uncle used to do that, but it's kind of dying out with him because nobody else is doing that, you know, or with a cornfield in the backyard, you know what I'm saying, where you live in the country. All of that stuff tends to go. And then I know here in Virginia and Richmond, they have the farmers market. They don't even have that no more. They turn into like a night area where a bunch of white people own stuff. You know, that's where black farmers used to come to sell their products for a reasonable amount. So that plays a part. It's a whole bunch of stuff that plays a part in all of this. And it is a real deep and long conversation, because we didn't even get to, you know, how generally black people have less money to spend, you know, or how to use your business to better other people. But you know, the whole point is sometimes you have to find a way to build whatever you want to build, you know, on your own. And you can't let the mindset of black people stop you, because that's what we're here to change, you know. And teach your children about business, teach your children about things that they're going to need in their lifetime. And sometimes you may have to accept the fact that you may not see that, but you want your children and your grandchildren to see that. So try to pass down as less you know, traumas as you can, and more lessons, like even just about how to raise your children, you know. I want to play this before we get off, you know, because I had to play this sister here because they was hating on her when I played her. But watch this, you know. She was like, and she's talking about mining and stuff. Even if you don't agree with her, you should probably even listen, because like, yeah, I should probably learn, like, if it's possible, can I get into it? Because guess what? Other people are, you know.
This topic because evidently it's a real trend that's happening in Africa, and I don't feel like it's talked about enough, or a lot of people don't even know. So on our lands, some Europeans came with a map and basically said how their forefathers left them some treasure. I was also contacted by another guy where the same thing happened. Europeans showed up on the land with a map, and they said that they were looking for something. The locals basically told them to get lost, but they were aware of certain markings on the tree, and they just lacked equipment. They asked me, hey, could you bring us some equipment so we can potentially dig up this treasure and see what they're looking for? Evidently, this is a trend because, as she describes, it's happening a lot in Kenya. Are you aware of this? Have you heard about this? What do you think? Check this video out.
This is for entertainment purposes only. Family, check out this comment. It's very true that a lot of the early missionaries who came through and a lot of the
I thought
soldiers.
this one was it was something else. Of course, you had the black people, black Americans founding the oil companies and all of that. How it happened. I want you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Could I say something real quick for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can wait. Go ahead and do that. I'll wait till you get those.
All right. So this is talking about how other people are competing for the resources in whatever country that the hell you want to fight for. Is everybody else is taking all of those resources but us, you know.
Hey, listen, I want you to watch this next video by world's renowned economist Jeffrey Sachs. He puts it nicely into perspective about the future of Africa over the next 40 years in comparison to China, who once was like Africa and grew to a superpower. And the truth is, the Chinese were able to do what they did because of the Chinese diaspora going back and investing. No one is going to have the good intentions for Black people but Black people. So it's important that we go back and we also invest in building Africa. I am here live currently in Zambia, Africa, and I've been back and forth investing for the last 6 years. I've been through the trial, the error, and now the fruits of my labor are really paying off. And now I can invite you guys to join me. But every time I get here, new doors of opportunity are revealed and opened up to me. And I just see the massive opportunity. I can't handle all the opportunities. So I want to
I'm
share it
looking
with you
for
all
this news story
because
thing.
as I'm on the ground, I see the Chinese, the Indian, the Lebanese, Europeans all capitalizing here in Africa. And I'm like, where are the children of Africa? More of us need to wake up to these opportunities and come together as a collective and invest and not miss the boat.
All right. I was looking for a particular news thing she showed, but anyway, what y'all think about that?
I totally agree. We need to. Africa's now, and people don't understand it. And we're so busy doing other things. I told you how there are you can do Airbnbs. You can do so much over there. You can open up your own coffee shop. You can do anything and everything. Sky is the limit. If you're into logistics, they need their internet redone because they're still going back in the day. I'm telling you, it's so much opportunity for very little money. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you can have probably $200 or $400, you could start your own business. I'm telling you, it's not going to take thousands of dollars to do it. People don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? You can rent an apartment and you can lease it out Airbnb. It's so many opportunities. I'm telling you, when I was there, because I was there 6 weeks, and I was like, oh my God, I went to Kenya, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Rwanda, and everywhere I went, I'm looking at all this opportunity, and it's like, where do you start? Where do you start? Could have got an apartment for $400. I'm just saying, I could have done Airbnb with it. It's so much. You guys, Africa's a now. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. If you've never gone, you owe it to yourself to go. You owe it to yourself. I rest my mic.
Yeah, facts. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah. Hey, I agree 100%.
Blanca says you're a lady. I'm sorry, Blanca. Blanca.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, I agree with Cassidra 100%. Man, I got friends who done went over, man. I mean, that's what I'm building toward. I'm going. But I mean, I know. I mean, a lot of brothers and sisters over there, man. There's a lot of them over there now. It's just we don't hear a lot about them. I mean, and there's a lot of brothers and sisters that's doing things on the ground, like their brother in Senegal, RJ Marty, doing some things. I know some other people, but that sister right there, see, I've been following her. This 2024, I've been following her for probably about 3 years. And she's been in the mining business. She's in Zambia. And she's been in it for a minute, man. She's been doing her thing over there. And that sister is serious too, man. And the thing I like about her, because she was talking. She did a live one time. I was on one of her lives, and she was talking. She was letting them know that this ain't like no. I'm not like no. She's separating herself from how other people, these foreign corporations might be Chinese or these Asian play or whatever. This ain't about no exploiting our brothers and sisters over there, man, African people. You know what I'm saying? She works hand in hand with them. I mean, she got like some kind of grant. I mean, the government, they gave her some kind of grant or something like that. Where she had a whole, they gave her a lot of land, man. To do her thing on. I mean, I'm talking about forecast. I mean, a whole bunch of land. You know what I'm saying? To do mineral exploration and stuff on. I mean, I think she said it was probably like 200,000. But she's doing big things, man. Or Gia, she's doing big things, man. And like I said, I've been checking it out for a minute, man. And and I've listened to it, like I said, for a few years. And the sister's serious, man. And I think a lot of I just talked to other people about it. I mentioned it around, and I think that I don't know, for some reason. I mean, it's like some brothers don't take sisters seriously. I don't. I mean, we got a fucked up mindset, man. Like this old hunkies mindset about sisters, man. We got to stop that shit, man. You got to stop that, man. I mean, sisters are just as intelligent as anybody else, man. And and hell, like in my lifetime, I mean, they've been like my greatest inspiration, man. Did more standing up and doing things than men have been. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of men about. But yeah, that's a bad woman, man. That's a bad woman. I respect her, man. I respect her, man. She's doing big things, man. At least, and it's one thing I have to say. For anybody who talks shit about her or say this or no naysaying and all that, guess what? She is over there on the ground doing something. What you doing? I'll leave it right there.
Right, yeah, and that's why I showed the sister, because the point of me even showing her the first time was because she was talking about something that maybe we should think about, and we know that there is resources that we need in the ground everywhere in the world, you know what I'm saying? Well, except for like Europe, that's why they got to go everywhere else, but still, as far as even protecting that, because when you look up like the first oil tycoons, even here in America, and how they should be billionaires, I think is this young sister named Sarah Proctor or something like that, who was known as the youngest or the richest, whatever, and she was just a little girl, and then what happened to them when they took that land and all of that, and we talk about what happened with the farmers, but are we supporting the farmers who's still doing it, or the black drivers who could connect the black stores, who are we're supporting or not, and this is a whole global thing, and this sister in particular was talking about mining, and the first thing people said was, oh, is she whatever, instead of saying, oh, well, even if she is, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to like take whatever she says and I'm gonna look into it myself, and maybe there's an opportunity for me to have financial independence and bring whatever resources back to my people, and if we ain't thinking about feeding, clothing, sheltering ourselves, then then we're not going to support our own freedom, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna show this, and then we're gonna start closing out, because it's I'm not gonna be too late. I'm just showing.
Some of us are building from scratch. No inheritance, no connections, no backups, just blood, sweat, and skills. Some of us are building from scratch. No inheritance, no connections, no backups, just blood, sweat, and skills. Some of us are building from scratch.
Okay. All right, Cassidra, you want to show that?
This is one where it's just amazing how they are.
Hey, Cassidra, could you bring it up? Because I
Okay,
can try to bring it up real
yeah,
quick.
I can bring it up. Hold on, let me see. Go ahead. I'm gonna try to get it up real.
Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and then but yeah, we're gonna play that, and then but yeah, that sister is talking about mining and stuff in different places, and it's just as far as investments and doing business with each other, you know what I'm saying? And even if we say like, because this is why I never get into that, because if we about like, oh well, the people, well fine, then do it for here, you know what I'm saying? Set up whatever, invest in your communities. We was talking about this water thing in Alabama, you know what I'm saying? And I know down there they have this thing with the soil, it's like a lot of red clay down there, so it make it harder in certain areas. But there's a lot of property down there that is hella cheap, you know what I'm saying? Like houses and stuff like that, a lot of stuff that you can do if you reinvest into your community, you know what I'm saying? But when people is out there trying to do something, like my brother Anthony said, like before you criticize them, and I'm not saying that you can or can't criticize somebody or any of that, but before you try to tear somebody down, ask yourself, like, are you doing more than what they're doing, Blanca said, it's okay to love. Shanique, well, I think the big issue is a lot of black people have been, Shanique is smart as hell. I don't know what that word is. Well, anyway, about stepping out on their own in a big way with big ideas. But there was a change in 2019 and during the whole lockdown. Yeah, Blanca said people need to get out of their cities. You're paying to live more in crowded communities. Shanique said we will move without fear when our back is against the wall, but we need to encourage each other and celebrate each other.
At forecast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing. Another thing, forecast. That's one thing about us as black people, African people in America. This is one thing about us. if you go back, check this out. Now, if we go back to the time when we, to slavery, what happened? The majority of black people, they never went no more than 20 miles away from their plantation. Probably no more than 5. You know what I'm saying? That plantation was their life, and it was on purpose. That plantation was their life. You don't know nothing there because they want to keep you dumb and don't want you to you don't know nothing about the outside world. So that plantation in the immediate area around that was your life. You know what I'm saying? That's all you went. And see, and that carries over to today. Because you know what? Right now, black people in America, we only think about America. You know what I'm saying? Like, this the world. Ain't nothing else out there. Ain't no bigger world outside. We can't go nowhere else. See, our mind, they got our mind thinking like this is the world. This your only hope. That you can't get up and go somewhere else and have a whole new life. You know what I'm saying? You can't go back to the motherland, go back to Africa and start you something. You know, I mean, you got to do your groundwork because nobody just go somewhere and don't know nothing about it. But you got to do your groundwork. But I'm saying we have somewhere else to go. And if you don't want to go there, you got a big old country called Brazil down there, a whole bunch of land undeveloped. I mean, you got lots of places where black people live in that we could go. But see, our mind is just right here on this plantation. And and we just like plantation Negroes, and we just think it ain't nothing better than America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, my brother. And consider I pulled it up. Consider you want me to play it?
Yeah. If you can, if it won't,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
You want me to play the white dude part?
Yeah. Well, actually, just a little bit of her introducing what she's talking about as far as him doing a clarion call to everybody about passports and investing. That dude, I'm telling you, could just play that first part where him, where you see him talking. And yeah, I think that'll be, it's just a general idea of what, what they're doing because we're not going. So guess what? Somebody is getting your land. We're going to lose it again. Are we serious? We just lost it in America, right? It's too expensive here. But I'm going to tell you what, they're selling land in Africa for $1,000. Black said. Even with Brandon, he was selling it in Burundi, Africa, and it was really super cheap. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you can't do it here, people, you don't have to settle for being treated like nothing here. I've gone there. I had no problems. I hear people saying, oh, Africans don't like us. Black folk here don't like you. What the hell are you talking about? Yes, you're going to have some coons over there too. You think not? But the majority of the time, I had no issues. I was there by myself for at least 2 weeks by myself. And then my daughter came. But I had no problems. I'm walking out. I'm walking around. They didn't know. They didn't care. They was minding their business and I was minding mine. Walking, visiting, just had so much. It was just fun. I'm just saying. And I felt no danger. I didn't feel like I was going to get kidnapped. I didn't feel like I was going to get shot. I didn't feel like I was going to get, beat up or, whatever. I didn't feel that. Y'all have to learn how to do for self and stop thinking about what, if white folks say something, no, it's the opposite. How about that? Because guess who I saw on the planes? Not us. I saw them. I'm like, what the hell y'all going over here? Y'all said it's too dangerous, right? But you on the plane. Where you going? Where you going? But you just told black folk not to go. That's because they don't want you there getting that land. But they over there getting it. But go ahead.
Yeah. And again, it's about business and being able to provide for whatever you need. I feel like I don't give a damn anywhere on the world. Like we take what the hell is out. Like we need something, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no damn friends anyway. Ain't our damn friends. There's something there we need, then go get it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But
you won't. Forecast. Don't do that one. Do this one because this one is a better one. I just want you guys to hear how, and I can send this one to you just to see. I know I'm switching up, but he was talking about the passports, okay? But this dude is talking about investments. I want y'all to hear this. This is what y'all missing. But he telling his friends about it. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna send it to you.
If you have it on your thing, you can share your screen and I can just put it up.
I have it on my phone, so I have to.
Okay.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
All right. You want to say something, Anthony, and then after this we're gonna close out.
Yeah, well, you closing out early, man. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I can't. I'm gonna try to respect y'all time and respect Cassidra time. You know.
I ain't got no time. You just, we can go along you want to. But hey, look at it's a brother in Sierra Leone. They're giving out citizenship too in Sierra Leone. Like if you're a person who can prove that your ancestry go back, like you Mende, go back to Sierra Leone, they give you free citizenship. You get citizenship, and they do land too. And it's a brother over there, man. He from here, from this side, and I think from New York City. But he New York City and somewhere down south, probably South Carolina somewhere, because he got Gullah Geechee blood in it. But his name is Chief Fode Mansoray, and he has a site on YouTube. He's a bad brother too, man. And he's based in Sierra Leone, and he's doing a lot of big things over there, man. A lot of big things, and he also help people who want to you want to relocate. He give you all of the information and things that you need. Help you out, give you a pathway if you want to come back. If you just want to come visit and find out, and do research and stuff like that. Yeah, his name Fode. She Fode Mansoray, man. Good brother too, man. Good brother, man. Real good brother. And yeah, I kick it with him, man. I talk to him and stuff. And he's over there. He's in Sierra Leone now, man. And he's doing big things. But yeah, it's a good brother, man. All right, okay.
Yeah, definitely. And Blanca said, yeah, I got time today, but nah, yeah, I ain't got that much time. But Oni has a house in Tanzania. That's what's up. Shouts out to Oni. All right,
Hey,
so
yeah, shouts out to Oni, man. Hey, shout out to Oni. Shout out to everybody on Quads Radio, the Bitter Medicine Podcast, Koku, Buana. I was fooling with Buana today, man. We was Shaka right now, they on Got Kush, they had a panel today. We wasn't on the panel, but we was in the chat, and we was going back and forth mess with each other, man. So shout out to Buana, man.
right, yeah, definitely. Shout out to Buana. All right, Cassidra, you want to play it?
Yeah, here, let me pull it up.
Okay.
Now, I just want y'all to listen. This is amazing. Just want y'all to hear what this dude is saying. Let me see. And hold on. All right, let me know if you guys can see it. Can you guys see it?
All right, let me pull it up. There you go. You on there now?
Okay, you can see it now. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it.
From the West, it's easy for you to
Oh shoot, hold on, y'all.
to the highest reaches of African society, because in Africa, automatically by being American or European, you will be taken more seriously. People will take you more seriously. The African people will take you more seriously, and you will be at a automatically higher echelon just because of where you come from. Now, of course, in business, it's all about who you know. It's all about what social circles you move in, all right? And this is something that people don't like to admit, but it's true.
Western Africa is starting to get pretty rich, and a lot of international investors are overlooking the opportunities that exist in countries like Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. I believe that the next generation of ultra-rich billionaires in real estate are going to come from Western Africa. I had an opportunity to do consultation for a development company in Abidjan, and what I saw there was very surprising. The main business district, which is called Plateau, was so well developed that you would have mistaken it for a very wealthy Western city. And some of the areas that were less wealthy, like Kokode, had houses that would put any of our McMansions to shame. We need to have Western-style finance, which is already coming out there, mainly through Deutsche Bank and some of these Swiss banks that are making a lot of inroads into West Africa. As more of us Western investors realize that we can make amazing returns in Africa, we're going to start putting money in there, and it's just going to fuel a big fire.
Ghana has made selling houses to foreigners easy. Some people argue a little too easy. Essentially, the government of Ghana planned to jumpstart the economy by encouraging the diaspora to move back to Africa. In our Ghana developments, Western money is responsible for many of our home sales. particularly in the more expensive areas. So let's talk about the new homes that we sell over $200,000. At this price point, 48% of our buyers bring their money from overseas, while 52% of our sales come from Ghanaians living in Ghana that made their money in Ghana. 4% are from European background, and 16% are of Asian, Indian, Turkish, or Latino descent. So contrary to what people may think, less than 10% of our total buyers have a non-African ethnic background, while only 2% have a European background, though I suspect that will change as Ghana continues to grow in popularity among Europeans and Asians. So is there any truth to the statement that overseas investors are pricing out native Ghanaians? Well, I would argue this is certainly true in the more popular neighborhoods in Accra, especially near the airport. However, the reason I believe prices are rising in general is that West Africa is becoming richer in general, and homeowners are realizing that they can demand a lot more money for the best lots, regardless of the presence of overseas investors. And even though it could be argued that overseas investors could push up prices slightly, they are also injecting a lot of money into West African economies, creating jobs and businesses that will support Africa's continued ascent. For instance, a typical retiring couple in West Africa could easily spend 75 to 200,000 cedi every single month, and that is big-time economic growth. So to me, the pros of overseas investors coming to Ghana greatly outweighs the cons. And if you're from West Africa, are you happy we are bringing in Westerners with a lot of money to spend, or are we driving up prices too much?
As you see in the video, those are two white men, and they are.
You see what I'm saying? You guys have to understand what's really going on. I'm gonna come back over here. I just wanted you to see this opportunity there. We have to understand that. And like he said, they're going to drive up the price. But like I told you, you can get land for what? $1,000? Under $1,000? You have to get it like through Black Seed is one person and Brandon. Okay. And I bought some stuff I bought 2 hectares from Black Seed, and then I bought one from Brandon. And they're for my grandkids. They're for my daughters. I'm just saying, you guys, the opportunity is there. If you are saying, hey, I can't do it here, then at least go there, have a business. And for me, have an American business to front your money for when you go there. Instead of you going there to get a business, you can have it over here and making American money and still building your own houses. I remember when I first started looking, like maybe a year ago, a couple of years, I seen a townhouse. It was like a condo for like $40,000, and they wanted at least 10,000 down. Okay, 15,000 down, and they would have allowed you to make payments. That's not bad, but I don't like Ghana. That's not the place that I want to go. Their president's too sold out for me. I don't like Ghana. And then I was thinking about Kenya, but I like Kenya. Kenya's more built up, but the president also, he wants to put little trinkets into babies' arms now. He's in with Bill Gates. See, this is what I'm saying. You have presidents over there that has sold out, but just like Mali and Burkina Faso and Niger, they've overthrown the government. Now they're running it, and they've signed contracts, with each other to support each other. So there are opportunities there. You just have to go visit. And I paid $750 for a round trip ticket. This was maybe 2 years ago. But now tickets maybe about $1,200 maybe round trip, just depending on what time you go. But how many people have gotten their taxes, gotten $10,000, and you spent it on a brand new 70-inch TV? I'm just saying, you tired of what you're seeing here? There's other places, and I'm not saying it's better, but I guarantee you, ain't no police officers murdering nobody over there. You can walk and you're safe. And I was there by myself, so I'm speaking from experience. I rest my mic.
Yeah, and that's all true, and I agree with that. Anthony, want to say something?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I agree. I agree with Cassidra, man. There's opportunities, man. And hey, and I sure agree with Cassidra about that part about Ghana too, because Nana Coffee or dough, nah, so that's a house Negro to the fashion right there.
Yeah, he's terrible. And then Kenya, you know what I'm saying? But if you guys pull up Black Seed, they have land now for sale. I mean, that's
Yeah,
go invest.
I know that sister Blackford. Ain't she the one? She from the UK or somewhere? Yeah.
She's from the UK. I bought 2 hectares from her.
In Gambia.
Gambia. I bought 2. And then I went and bought one with Brandon. and I got a good price and was thinking about getting some more with Brandon.
Yeah,
He, you know, yeah, he. I'm telling you, guys have to understand. You guys have to understand. It's time to do something different. It is time to do something different. Yes, and Rudo, he did. He was going to send troops to with Haiti.
Hey,
He changed
yeah,
his mind. Haiti said, "Don't come over here." Haiti told him, "Don't do that. That's not going to be good for you," because Haiti was going to take him out. He wasn't playing, and you see, you didn't send him, didn't you? Haiti wasn't
yeah.
playing with him. Haiti said, "Come on over here if you want to. You better stand down," because the United States was going to use Rudo, Kenya, to go against his own brother. That's what he was going to do. But Haiti shut him down. Haiti shut it
Yeah,
down. But yeah,
yeah,
I rest my mic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's all facts, you know. And like I said, man, because I appreciate y'all, and I'm not saying this to you know, anybody necessarily in the chat, you know what I'm saying, because y'all are definitely here, you know. But this mindset of, you know, I get it, you know, and that's why we go down to like the roots of like a whole lot of hatred of pain, because we see in every aspect, from like how they treat young boys in school to, you know, just how we have relationships with each other, you know what I'm saying, the drama that we deal with, you know. But the whole point is, you know, we don't, do we want freedom, or do we just want to be comfortable where we at, you know? Because some things we are going to have to sacrifice, you know. Like, we don't find a problem with McDonald's, but you find a problem with the brother who's doing something, you know. But that's just a small microcosm of a larger issue that we have, you know, as a collective, you know. And that's what we, and that's how it's hard, because other groups of people understand it's a collective thing. They have their differences, they have their fighting, but they understand that it's a collective effort. So when you see a brother out there trying to do something, or you see how you see Cassidra, who shouldn't be even talking about this, but trying to organize brothers to go into school, you know, Cassidra should be worried about, like, you know, women things, like organizing. And as brothers, me and Anthony should be worried about the brothers, you know. But when you see like only certain people show up for certain things, but then they'll come out with criticisms. But then if you're talking about something else, you know, you will see like a whole lot of more people. And I get it, because I will never put that all on us, because I get a lot of it is that whatever thing it is always going to be targeted, you know. So no matter what it is, it's going to be targeted, whether it be like less finances, less access to something, or less people know about it. So we understand that side of it, but we do have to actually face the fact that every time that I have seen like mentioning somebody, and I'm not saying that y'all or everybody, or, but far too often we find the first thing that we're going to say is something negative about anything, even if it has to do with the topic or not, you know. And it's nothing wrong with people expressing their opinions, but then it gets to a point where we only focus on the negative, and then it gets to the point where if you're so worried about what somebody else is doing, then show me what the hell to do. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing it wrong, you can't tell me I should be doing it a certain way if you have not done it. If you think I should be talking to a certain people, I should not have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've seen people come on here and try to disrespect Cassidra. They may not know who she is and think, oh, well, she's just another woman or whatever. But the sister has, this is why I respect her, because she is not just talking about it. She has real life things that is going on to help the community, and she's not just talking. And they call us the extremists. We not the extremists. Y'all just the cowards. You know what I'm saying? Like the extreme position.
Can I say
Anyway,
something?
go ahead, my brother.
Okay, okay, okay. Check this out, okay. Give me a couple of minutes to say it. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. This forecast, this mentality of this go along to get along, you know, this have smoke for black people who trying to do something. This was carefully carefully cultivated. I'm gonna take it. Okay, now go. Bear with me. When Malcolm X came out, you know, with with his thing. You know what I'm saying? When he was, like especially when he was with the Nation of Islam, before he all left. But even after, but when he came out with his thing about black men standing up and taking out and assuming opposition as men and doing what we had to do, what happened? White folks countered him with Martin Luther King and with the non-violence. Just think about this here. At a time where these hunkies is bombing black churches, you know what I'm saying, and doing all kind of bullshit to black people, you gonna have a Negro, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about Dr. King the person. I'm not being personal, but I'm going symbolically. You have a Negro saying throw your hands up and don't fight back. Dr. King, it was one incident where they was gonna have it was gonna be some kind of big rally they was holding, and a lot of the brothers and sisters were like, Dr. King, we ain't with that nonviolence. We the hell with that. And Dr. King had a speech, and in that speech, you know what he said? If any blood run, let it be our blood. You know what I'm saying? Let it be our blood. You got to think about, see, Dr. King had a powerful voice, man, a mesmerizing voice. You know what I'm saying? If you hear somebody like that saying the stuff that he was saying, you got to realize the effect that it had on the mind of black people. Okay. Then you go on later on, okay, it was in 1968. It was right before Dr. King got killed. Now, the Black Panther Party had been around for 2 years. The Black Panther Party was talking about this was before the Black Panther Party started letting all the honkies in. They was talking about open revolution, talking about arming, and conducting guerrilla warfare campaigns against the United States government. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was talking. That's what they was about then. I remember Dr. King made this speech. I got the video. I got it in my archives. What Dr. Martin Luther King was saying. I don't think that what he was saying. I don't condone. I don't think that we should ever conduct like guerrilla warfare against the United States government. Armed struggle. He said that. We should. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we should conduct that. That ain't the way to go. I don't condone it. I don't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Then you move forward. Okay, his death. You move forward into the 70s. They gave you these old Uncle Tom sellout Negroes like Jesse Jackson. You know what I'm saying? To come here and sell you some stuff. They'll talk black, tell you I am somebody and how you know it and this and that and all that old bullshit. But also telling you he said his famous speech, Jesse, when he was at the Watts Festival. I remember that there vividly at the Watts Festival, man. I got the tape. I got those CD on where he was saying, we done graduated from Burn Baby Burn. I got to look at the subliminal messages they said. We done graduated from Burn Baby Burn. We moved on from Burn Baby Burn to Learn Baby Learn. You know what I'm saying? That integration and shit. Now you got to realize how they sit these Negroes in front of us and tell us this stuff. Because see, this all is coming back to right now. Why you saying and why you and why Sister Consider why we say why we don't do nothing. Because we didn't have this programmed into our mind. Because you know what? They put their leaders, they Negro leaders in front of us to tell us this shit. And then most of the time it be them pastors because they know how spooked out we is on religion. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Lord. Yeah. Another thing is, I remember when they made that movie, it was like in 1973, 74. I don't remember. I was a kid, a child at the time. But I'm saying I got the movie. Now when they came out with that, this era was called the Black Exploitation movie. That's the Black Exploitation era. Now they had a movie in 1968. It was a movie called Uptight. And it was made right after Dr. Martin Luther King got killed. Now Uptight, I got the movie. And now these brothers was talking about some serious shit. The movie was script. It was written by a brother named Julian Mayfield, who was one of Malcolm X's homeboys. He was in an organization with Malcolm X, the OAAU, the Organization of Afro-American Unity, and he starred in the movie. Now they was talking some strong black revolutionary stuff. The movie, they basically tried to suppress that movie. But when Sam Greenlee The one who had wrote Sam Greeley, a man who had operated in their system. That's why you hear the movie The Spook That Sat by the Door. See, he was talking about himself. Now, I done heard interviews, and this brother was deep. Because see, he worked in the U.S. in the CIA related kind of thing. He knew the inner workings and outer workings of it. So he wrote that book, The Spook. The book was before the movie. The book, The Spook That Sat by the Door. Okay. Well, he made that movie when him and his brother named Ivan Dixon. They made that movie, and I'm telling you, those people tried their best to stop that movie. They stopped it. It was because of them really was why they came over some of that NC-17 stuff. And you know, we ain't gonna let these Negroes come and make no movie like this here and sneak it by us. You know what I'm saying? That movie, I mean, you know, if you'd have seen it before, you know that was a deep movie. And you know, if you got the message, you know what it is. But see, what happened after they made that movie right there? The white folks said, "We gonna do something about this shit." Because the COINTELPRO got involved in that. No, and the FBI, CIA, all of them got involved in stopping that movie. Because see, this was at the height of that Black Power movement, around 72, 73. This was at the height of it. Well, I mean, it was still a serious thing that white folks said, man, it might be a revolution in this motherfucker. But what they did, they laid there and they started giving you movies like Superfly. You know what I'm saying? They gave you movies like Superfly about cocaine, about a Negro, a half white Negro, a whitish Negro, running around here selling dope and pimping bitches. You know what I'm saying? This kind of shit here. Then they came a couple of years after that with The Mac. You know what I'm saying? About a Negro running around pimping black women. You know what I'm saying? So they came down. What they did was they dumbed down our minds. They dumbed down people's minds because they know one thing. We went to the movies. They know, and even how our young people take their cues from the rap culture. Well, you know, that was the rap culture back then. Going to the movies, seeing Superfly, seeing a Negro in a long, big old Eldorado Cadillac and making money. So they shifted from the revolutionary, they shifted our minds from the revolutionary stuff to the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? To the max. This is some bullshit now. And you got, even now today, you hear these Negroes, you know, running around in long fur coats and some of that pimping and all this old bullshit. You know, having sisters out there, half niggas shaking their ass, sexy red and all of those shit. You know what I'm saying? So they dumbed down our minds with that shit because we bought into that bullshit. Into this, hey man, you know, forget all that revolutionary shit. You know, man, it's about you, man. It's about the individual. Forget all that black people together shit. And so this is where you at right now. So you wondering, well, why we let shit go? Well, why we let we see a brother get or a sister get killed and all those shit, or we see a brother like the brother in Brother Jay, go to jail while we don't do nothing. Because you know what? They done sold us that bullshit up, man. That's he on his own. You know what I'm saying? That's he on his own. It's an individual thing now. It ain't no us thing no more. That's why. Because it ain't no us thing. It ain't no us sticking together. You know what I'm saying? The us now means you consider the people who think like us. But we in the minority. You know what I'm saying? But
what was the name of that movie again?
That bull crap. Which one are you talking about, Cassandra?
The black movie you was talking about they didn't want us to watch. What was the name of it?
The Spook That Sat by the Door.
Huh?
The Spook That Sat by the Door.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I knock off 4Ks. Go ahead, man. I ain't mean to rant too long.
Oh no, yeah, you all right, my brother. You all right. So let me do this and then we're gonna close out, y'all. I want y'all to see this. Shouts out to my brother Black Maggots who showed me this joint in the building. But I want to play this. I guess this will be the positive thing here. Now if you pay attention here, you know what I'm saying, you'll see. I'll explain it, I guess. I'll play it, then I'll explain it. See.
White lady instigate a fight, let black lady get on her ass. So boom, you see a nigga try to, but hey, old girl nigga too, he's solid. But this how I know they real love. Just together. This how I know it's real.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
together.
Now hold on, you got to see this whole.
Bow as one.
I love it. Let me see
Now you
that
got
again.
to. I will play it again, but now the context. You see this white girl that started the fight, right? Because
Hey, I
remember the
remember
last one.
that one.
You remember the last white girl that started the fight? Got her frontal lobe smashed in. You know what I'm saying? The white girl started the fight, right, and getting her ass whooped, and then this brother to jump in to save a white girl. This is what happens on a microcosm of like when there's consequences, you know, and when black men and black women is on in unity, you know.
So boom, white lady instigate a fight, black lady get on her ass. So boom, you see her nigga try to, but hey, old girl nigga too, he's solid. But this how I know they real love. Just pop together. This how I know it's real. Them niggas aligned. Look, bow together. Bow as one. Nah, for real.
So hopefully they knock some sense into that young brother's head, you know. But yo, what you think about that? What you think about that, Cassidra?
I love it. He should have got his. They should have popped him. How you gonna sit up there and protect the cracker that was sitting up there starting the fight? They should have stomped him too. And that's what we have to get to the point where if you go against one of us, we coming after you. That's the way it should be in real life today. You step in the way, we're gonna bop you out the way, and we're gonna bop on your head. Period. I rest my mic.
Yeah, what you think about that, Anthony?
Yeah, hey, I remember that video. Hey, but look here, I just consider always snitching on herself, man. So hey, you see how she said bop? Hey, I ain't heard this as I was a little boy. So that bop.
You know what?
My grandma used to say that. But hey, man, yeah, it's just it's like forecast. You know, when you you did me wrong the other night when you laid there and played that Bobby. You was playing Dr. Bobby Wright, and you know that's one of my big fans, but like my second biggest hero after Marcus Garvey. And you was playing some stuff he played that he was saying. But you remember another thing. Remember he in that same lecture. You remember this part that he said? We said black people. He said we the only people who can't sanction our people. He said, you know, no Jew, or no Irish, no Italian could go there and say anything they want to say about the Irish community or the Italian community or Jewish community. He said, but we can't do that. He said, but any black person get up and say whatever they want to say about us. You know, he was talking about these cats like Jason Whitlock, and Stephen A. Smith. You know, people like that who can get up there in front of a microphone and say anything about us. You know what I'm saying? And score black people, you know, kicking for hunkies and all that. You know what I'm saying? But he was talking about that. He said we need to have a system. We need to have a system where we could punish Negroes like that. And that's a perfect example right there. Now here, this Negro gonna go in here and caping for this old ugly ass cave girl. You know what I'm saying? Brother sister knocked his ass off, put him on his ass. You know what I'm saying? Exactly the way he should. They should have gave him a pumpkin head. You know what I'm saying? But and we gotta we gotta get rid. Hey man, you know what? It's going before we go for the main thing. We got to clean house first, man. We got to clean house. We gonna have to get some of these coons gonna have to get bought back in line. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to get their ass. They're gonna have to get re-educated. You know what I'm saying? And if that don't work, some other shit gonna have to happen to them. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have to do that, man, because it's hard fighting a battle on two fronts. Well, you know, I'm fighting the big enemy up here, and I'm fighting the enemy within back up behind me. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes the enemy within is the biggest enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because he could infiltrate and, X-ray Hampton. No, I thought I had a bodyguard. This Negro going back snitching. I got killed behind him. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna have to deal with that shit, man. We gonna have to get rid of these coons by any means necessary. And yeah. But yeah, man, I thought that was a beautiful thing, man. I just wish they had stomped the shit out of this motherfucking ass.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we're gonna have to have that next time. No, or I'll see what me and Consider gonna have next week. But like, I guess one of these days, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of disagree. I know everybody feel like that. That we're gonna have to go at Black people first. I disagree with that statement, and then maybe everybody could come on and say actually like good conversation about that. But I do disagree with that. I know what everybody means by that, but I don't
Okay,
think.
let me push back. I'm not
I
saying
know
we
that's
got
why
to.
we gonna have a whole John.
Just listen to me. I'm not saying we got to go at them first. I'm saying, but you're gonna have to deal with them. Okay, let me say this here. You remember Gabriel Prosper? You know who sold out Gabriel Prosper? Another brother.
Yeah, I
When
know.
he went back and told the slave master.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, that is something that you got to look for. Now I'm saying look at forecast. If you fighting a war, you fighting a war. Forecast. We're in a boxing match, me and you. I'm over here. I'm Big Anthony over here. You Big Forecast over there, and we're in a boxing match, and we fighting a war, and we going at it. We going toe to toe. It's an even match. But we find out that, look here, one of your corner men on the take. You know what I'm saying? He got a bet on the other side. And he lay there and he drops some shit up in your water that's making you punch drunk. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta fight. You gotta fight me, but you gotta fight the joke in your corner. You know what I'm saying? That's working against you. So I'm saying that you know what I'm saying?
No, don't get
That's
me
what
wrong, bro. I understand what you're saying, my brother. But like I said, that's gonna have to be a whole thing because I get what you're saying, but like, and I definitely disagree with saying that first. You know what I'm saying? Like, because most times we'd be like, we got to do our own first. I know all of y'all agree with, and I understand why people say that, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it don't matter what the dude in the corner is. If the referee, like, first of all, you got to apply for the boxing license. Who you got to go to for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. We leave a lot, but that's what I'm saying. This is a whole conversation. I don't want to. We gonna do that probably like in a few days.
we
Hopefully,
talking about
Consider come on and you come on and I know Black Megas and Bakari and I know a lot of y'all feel that way. But that's why I think we should have that conversation. And I appreciate Considera. And by the way, shouts out to Raw in the building. And before we give our last words, Consider, you want to say something about that?
Well, you know how I feel about it. If you step out of order and you not, when you going against your own, you got to go. That's how I believe. That's what I believe. Candace Owens, she should have been taken care of, seriously, because we'll have to watch our back in the front, messing with them, So that's how I feel.
Yeah,
But that's my
definitely.
mark.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, and before we give our last statement, shouts out to Raw in the building. I'll definitely show it one more time before we give our closing statements. Oh, hold on, let's see.
So boom, white lady instigate a fight, let black lady get on her ass. So boom, you see a nigga try to, but hey, old girl nigga too, he's solid. But this how I know they real love. Just pow, together. This how I know it's real. Them niggas aligned. Look, pow, together. Pow, as one. Nah, for real.
That is the best. This is the best part of the whole show.
as one, that's what we need. As working together as one. See, I'm not against. Sometimes I need to, but you see who was on the floor first. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's the only thing I mean. It's just so many of us don't have that. That's why we got the smoke for the black leaders.
And see, he was a part of COINTELPRO. He went and took their attention off the white woman, right? Didn't he? He took their attention off of her and put it on himself. He was willing to put his life at risk for a white piece of nothing. That's the sad part about it. Go ahead.
Hey, forecast.
No, I'm gonna let you go in, but go ahead, my brother, because it's on you, my brother. I will let you have like your last words. So like say this and then your last words too.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, man.
I'm saying like say what you was about to say, and then after that, say like your closing thing too. You know.
I'm cool, Forecast. I ain't got nothing. You know, I'm cool. Go ahead, do your thing, man.
No, I'm saying like no, I was putting it on you to like say like your closing. We about to close out. I'm saying like your closing stuff. You know.
Well, okay then. All right. My closing words, man, is just we got to stick together. If we got to stick together, I mean, and like you always say in closing, man, we all we got. You know, I agree with that 100%, man. We all we got. So you know what I'm saying? We got to stick together, man. We got to keep our eyes on the prize and know that we fight for our liberation and nothing else. All of the bullshit, all the side shit, need to be on the side. You know, we need to worry about that. We need to get up. We need to get free first. And yeah, that's it, man. And hey, and man, you know, y'all put some prayers to the ancestors for me, man, because I'm kind of like going through some of this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Been having, like, I don't want to give no down to nobody, but I'm going through some things right now, man, and y'all just put some prayers in the ancestral realm for me, man.
Yeah, definitely, my brother. Yeah, for sure.
We got you.
Sure, and I definitely appreciate you for coming on here, and it ended up being longer than I wanted it to be. It's still hella long. I'm sorry, Cassidra, but I'm gonna try to.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I enjoy the conversations that we always have, So and I think they need it, so I appreciate you. Well, yeah, go ahead, Cassidra.
Well, I appreciate you guys for coming in, just hanging out, because sometimes this is a conversation that's much needed, much needed. And Anthony, just a word of encouragement to you. Hey, it's nothing it ain't nothing you can't handle. You have to understand that things gonna come and go, and it's gonna be okay. It's only to make you stronger. Nothing gonna kill you. It's only making you stronger. That's all. And that's how we have to look at stuff. We have to look at stuff that things when we go through stuff, it's only going to make us stronger. It's not meant to destroy us. Yeah, it's the way you have to look at it. You have to look at that situation and sit back sometime and just look at the whole situation, take a break, step back and look at the whole situation and see how you can conquer that thing. Because it's not that you can't do it. You just don't want to do it right now because it's like overwhelming, but it ain't nothing you can't handle. And it's going to all work out. It always does. If we really look at stuff, the problems that we have, we'll look at it. And by the time we really want to get in there and solve it, it's done. And it's done like that. It's over. And we get a lot of energy to, just to a problem. And we think it's a huge it's overdrawn and it's over, bigger than us. We have to back up sometime and just let that thing work itself out. It's going to be good. It's all good. You got this. It's nothing you can't handle. But I just want us as Black people to come together and support each other. You got my email. You need anything, just write. Let me know. And that's what we have to do. And that's what it's about. And that's what it's time for us to do. It's time for us to come together. And you hear, brother, he just told you, hey, I got some stuff. Okay. You got our ear. What can we do to help? That's what it's about right there. It's not just about praying. It's about helping. If we can help, let's help our brother. He just told you he needed some help. Okay. We got you. And that's where we have to get to the point. That's where we need to be. Always ready. Always on guard. Always ready to get in there and do whatever it's going to take to make sure our brother good. That's what it's about. And just like Black Megan said, that even though Black men have done things, it's okay. They can always do stuff. Women do stuff too. But I will never, ever give up on our kings. I will never give up on our Black men, because it's not like they didn't get here by themselves. And Black women didn't get here. We didn't get to this point of where we're going at each other by ourselves. We had help, but we have to get to the point where no matter what, I'm going to support. No matter what. Yes, you're going to have some coons. It's okay. Let them coon out. You walk past them, go to the next brother, shake his hand. How can I help? Let's come together. Let's do what we need to do. And let's fight our way out of this. Because it's nothing we can't handle together. And we have to understand that. And that's why we go through. There's nothing Black people can't handle. They can't handle it because they're putting us into situations where we know we've come out on top. We know we've won. There's nothing, we can handle all seasons, can we not? And we do. And we do. Everything we've gone through, they put us through, we've come out on top. We won. It may not look like it, but we still win. We're winning now. But another thing, I want us to get to the place where we're not looking at, I look at Africa and we talk about Africa, and then we have people arguing about our history. I'm not here to argue about our history. I never hear the Jews arguing about their history. I never hear that. I never hear them arguing about reparations. When they get a check, they take the check and keep moving. But it's time for us to come together and appreciate each other and do whatever it's going to take to help that person over the hump, to help that person to make sure that we're all good. Because when one wins, we all win. When one is down, we're all down. And we have to figure out how we're going to get out the hole together. You know what I'm saying? Lift one, pull one, lift one, pull one. That's what it's about for us. And that's what it should be. So we have got, even though we see leaders and they're not doing anything for us, it's okay. Because they're going to get theirs. But the ones that want to help, the ones that you're a leader and you know that you got it and you know you can do it, it's time for us to pick up and everybody do their part. And if you doing yours forecast, I'm doing mine, Anthony, you doing yours, how can we lose? Because we're going to be so busy building, we ain't got time to worry about other people. And maybe the ones that are just standing on the sideline watching, they'll come and join. Now the coons, you ain't gonna never get them. They're gonna do what they do. They're gonna do what they do. And it's okay. But I'm gonna be building. Y'all can stand over there if you want to. We building. We ain't got time to worry about, if this our land or I already know where I'm going. My end game is Africa. I have land there. That is my end game. Because I will not stay in a country where I know it's gonna be destroyed. We know America's done. Do we not? We know that. You should know it. Look around. It's done. It's done. You got a lot of people coming in here. If you don't understand that a lot of us are going to die. If you don't start saving your money, if you don't have a passport, you guys better get a passport. I've been listening to this woman, and I hope you guys pull her up. It's called The Master's Voice. I've been listening to her. It's called The Master's Voice. You guys need to listen to her. She was saying, don't go any place where there's a lot of crowds, because America's going to start putting off bombs in different places in the country. Listen to this. And that's all to bring in a new world order. I know y'all don't believe that. Some people do, some people don't. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Just look around you. What country do you know allows a bunch of foreigners in? I've gone all over the country. I've never been able not to use my passport and just walk through. I've never been able to do that in any country. Why are they doing that here? It's got to be for a reason, you guys. Don't be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Get your passport. If you don't have one, get one. It's only $150. Go get one. Go and get one. Save $75 this pay and $75 next pay and go get your passport. You're going to need it. Go get your food. If you don't do nothing but get a bottle of water, if you don't do nothing but get a can of beans, every time you get paid, take $5, go to the Aldi's and get you a 50-cent can of something. Don't forget the can opener. Go to the dollar store and get you them big bottles of water. Go get a case. Walmart have cases for what? $3? Go and get your case of water. We have to get busy. You cannot see stuff happening and not do anything. God protects them, yes, but God protects those who protect themselves too. If he told you and he's showing you and he's sending people that's telling you to get ready, to prepare, isn't that him preparing you? Don't sit there and say, God gonna take care of me, and you ain't going out and buying a can of nothing. You don't get protection because he told you. He told you to prepare. And if you don't hear my voice, you're going to be in trouble. 2/3 are going to die in this country. And you know why? Because they're not preparing. You see the signs. You see the signs. When you see them take Biden, because they're going to put him away. Listen to this. They're going to put him away. And Kamala Harris is going to be your last. I'm telling you, listen to what I'm telling you. People don't understand this. He can't win, and they know that. They're going to get rid of Biden because he won't sit down. And it's going to be a whole lot. This country, I'm telling you, getting ready to go into civil war, and people don't even understand it because it's going to they're putting things in place right now. Right now. Do you guys actually really believe that Trump is going to get back in office? They've done everything to keep him out of office. Do you really believe that they're going to let that man get back in office? He's too uncontrollable. They can't control him. Kennedy, they couldn't control him. What did they do to him? You think that can't happen to Trump? You guys better think twice. And that's how the Civil War, America knows what they're doing, you guys. And I know this is off the subject, but I need to tell you guys this because we're not ready. You got to get ready. I rest my mic.
Yeah, definitely. Black Mega said, get a case of spring water, not that purified local public water department water bottles. Yeah, definitely. You know, again, like water, batteries, you know, different kind of stuff that you may need, you know what I'm saying, canned goods and stuff. Like I try to every time you go to the grocery store, just get like an extra couple of them, you know what I'm saying, just in case, you know, just certain stuff like that, or a case of water or something, because you can't live like 24 hours without water.
You can't. You can't. Get one of them. You get that purifier. You get them drops of liquids. You can put that in anything. Get your straw where you can suck even out the lake. You'll be able to suck in the fresh water. You guys do not be prepared. You can see the signs. What other country do you see letting all these men, foreign men, Chinese men, what did one guy say? I keep talking about the one guy from Afghanistan, Mexico, Afghanistan. The reporter asked him, why are you here? What did he say? On live camera, you'll soon find out. Don't be in crowded places. Don't be on the buses. Don't be in like the rallies, you know, the basketball, football games, the parades. Don't be in those crowds right now. Stay out of the crowds. Stay home. I'm telling you. You guys can't afford to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. We don't know where this stuff is going to happen. I know it's going to be in New York and California, Chicago. Those are the main places. And those are the main places where those foreigners are going. Is it not? Telling you, you guys, listen, this is not good what we're going to see. We're getting ready to see some stuff. These last few months, it's going to tell the tale. When you see Biden disappear, because they're going to put him away, because he's got Alzheimer's. They know that. And nobody likes Kamala Harris, right? But she's going to step up just for a minute. But Trump is not getting in that office. I don't care what y'all say. He ain't getting in that office. They're not going to give it to him. I don't care what it looked like. They've tried too many times to tell him to sit his ass down, and he won't. He keeps coming back, don't he? They're not going to let him get in that office. I rest my mic, y'all. I'm going to try to rest it for good.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna be back next time. You know, this one still ended up being long. I don't know, I can't figure it out.
It is what it is. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It really is. It's okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, but because I definitely appreciate you for coming on here. I appreciate everybody for listening, and I'm glad that it was as many people as last time that y'all people did show up for important conversations, and not just like when people think it's gonna be something dumb. So I definitely appreciate y'all and everybody, you know. So shouts out to all of y'all. And I will let this brother here have my last words, you know.
20 million black people in this country have been like boys in the white man's house. He even calls us boys. Don't care how big you get, he calls you boy. You can be a professor. To him, you're just another boy. I heard him calling Ralph Bunch. Why, he's a good old boy. And if we can't do it, we should hush our mouth. If you can't do for yourself what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. If you can't set up a factory like he sets up a factory, don't talk that old equality talk. Get off the welfare. Get out of that compensation line. Be a man. Earn what you need for your own family. Then your family respects you. They are proud to say, that's my father. She's proud to say, that's my husband. Father means you're taking care of those children. Just because you made them, that don't mean you're a father. Anybody can make a baby, but anybody can't take care of it. Anybody can go and get a woman, but anybody can't take care of a woman.
Yeah, so, you know, shouts out to that brother. That would be my last words, you know, for me. And shouts out to my brother Anthony for coming on here. Shouts out to Black Megas in the building. Shouts out to Raw, who was in the building. Appreciate you coming through. Shouts out to Shanique. I'm glad Shanique been here the last couple times. Shouts out to Blanca in the building. Appreciate her for coming through. Shouts out to Bakari who came on here. Bakari came on here. So shouts out to Bakari. Let me see. Shouts out to Rashid who was in here, came on here last time. Shouts out to him, my brother Guy. Shouts out to Erica Howard. Shouts out to Matron. Shouts out to everybody. Yeah, when you don't learn your story, you're bound to repeat it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, as black men, we got to step up and do what we got to do. And I'm just speaking for, we all got to step up. As black people, we have to step up and be our own damn leaders. If somebody ain't doing something right, then you do it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, shut the hell up, you know? So thank you, Cassidra. Another great one. I appreciate you.
Always forecast. Have a good night.
You too. And I appreciate all of y'all. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.